All right. What's
There
up,
we go.
buddy?
What's up, pal?
Well, not much, brother. What about you?
Same old, same old. How you feeling, man?
I feel good, buddy. How about you?
I'm all right. You've seen this, right, Chris?
Yeah, man. I'm glad to hear say that. Glad to hear say that, man.
Hell
Got those
yeah.
drops. Now I can take the gloves off.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm chomping at the bit, brother.
I can do Parkland right off the bat.
The only reason I don't want to do it is because I don't have all the notes written down
Same
from
here,
Dr.
same here, same
Perry.
here. Oh, believe me, I'm not gonna go right off the top of my dome with you.
Yeah. And I don't want to have all my my notes down from Dr. McClellan, Dr. Crenshaw, Dr. Perry, some of the nurses that was there. I do have some of the notes written down for Dr. Crenshaw talking about the wounds. Dr. I think it was Perry who actually, contrary to popular belief, there was people who said he never examined the head wound when he actually did. Um,
Okay, who was it? Perry that was standing at the president's head?
Yes, and they people say that Perry never and and he actually changed his testimony in the Warren Commission from his original notes
Hi,
when he
Ralph.
said
Do I know you? Does Chris know you?
I think Ralph had sent me a friend request.
Oh, okay.
Um, by the way, put our thing up there. So
Oh yeah,
Ralph,
yeah, I got you.
we have we do nightly podcast and debates, and we have a YouTube channel. We're trying to get as many subscribers as we can. So if y'all could please subscribe, more viewers. But yeah, Dr. Perry had actually changed his original testimony by the time he got to the Warren Commission, um, from what he originally said.
Right,
But
right.
that's neither here nor there. We got plenty of time to get into that. But I got too far ahead of myself because I started.
Oh, dude, I've been going so deep.
Well, I went so deep into Tippett that I was like, okay, I got to slow down and go back to Parkland and Bethesda.
Hey, I watched a documentary last night about, did you, I'm sure you've heard of this guy who's allegedly, it's bullshit. The guy who said he was cellmates with Oswald at Dallas.
Yeah, and he said Oswald talked.
Yeah, but he won't say what he said.
Right, he said he's afraid of his life, fear for his
Yeah.
life. You know, he actually was a cellmate of Oswald. They found um, the um, at first the FBI said he was never
He
in jail
wasn't,
that
yeah,
day,
they
but
first they said he wasn't even locked up that day.
right, but he was locked up
He
that
was
day,
locked
and he
up.
was in a cell. But they never said what Oswald talked
No,
about.
no.
Um, I believe he did say something along the lines of a few nights before the assassination, Oswald and Ruby was in a hotel room together
Yeah.
discussing some gun
I
running.
guess he had told his sister that, and she said it or something.
Yeah. Um,
So
That'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know what Oswald. I'm sure Oswald may have told him something, but I don't
I'm
really
not
know.
sure of that. I'm not sure of that. Even if it was a conspiracy, I'm not sure of that.
Well, I don't think Oswald would sit there and admit to some guy in there in a cell he doesn't know that hey, this
Exactly.
was a conspiracy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you know, um, and for all we know, Oswald could have been saying, I'm just a patsy. This is, crap like this right here. But I don't think Oswald went into the whole case with some.
No, sir. Dude, I know his words word for word when he's walking through the hallway. No, sir, I
Yeah.
didn't shoot anybody.
No, sir. Of course, naturally, I work in that building. No, sir, I didn't shoot him.
Naturally, if I work in that building,
Naturally, if I work in that building, yeah. Was you in that building? No, I didn't shoot anybody. Well, naturally, if I
what
work
happened
in
to
that
your face,
building,
Lee? A police officer hit me. A policeman hit me.
a policeman hit me.
Yeah. The first time I heard about it was when a news reporter in the hall.
That was one of the things that got me. They said, "Did you shoot the president?" He goes, no, I've not been charged with that. The first thing I heard about it was a police
News
person
reporter in the hall.
asked me that question.
Yeah.
No, I have not been charged with that. But you do know that he passed a voice stress analyzer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's equivalent to like which they're not admissible in court was a
Yeah,
polygraph test. But there was a voice stress analyzer, and they said that with that voice stress analyzer, uh, that they thought he was telling the truth. Of course, it's like a polygraph test. People can beat a polygraph.
yeah, sure. I've seen on fucking goddamn Howard Stern people that were lying past them though.
Yeah, I mean, a polygraph's that's the reason they're not admissible in court.
Yeah, I know.
That's the reason. If I was ever charged with anything, I would refuse to take a polygraph.
I'll tell you right now, if anyone was lying and was able to pass a polygraph, it would be Lee. He was, I think. I mean, this is all willy nilly. This is not part of our thing. We're just shooting the shit here. But
I mean, you think he could pass the polygraph?
if he was lying, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So I was thinking about something after we get through the Bethesda and Parkland, and then we go with the getaway, and then we go into Tippett, and then to the theater. That may have to be a two-part
That's a
segment
two part. That's a two part.
because I have so much stuff with Tippett
Okay, I
that
say this. I say Parkland Bethesda, one segment. Tippett Theater, second.
okay.
Unless you
Yeah, yeah.
plan on dragging me into deep waters with Tippett. I don't know how.
Oh, I'm going to drag you in deep waters with Tippett. That's one thing in Tippett's going to take a really long time because I've got so much stuff.
Yeah, I know, dude. I remember when I was on the conspiracy side. Tippett's. There's a lot to Tippett.
There's a lot to Tippett, and I mean, I actually would have so that I pulled out the the people who there was 26 witnesses, and the only witnesses that they brought to uh, that that
Oh,
that
come on,
was a book.
Tim. Come
Well,
on,
that was
Tim.
a book that was written called Fatal Error. Um, um, and to hit that shot, that would have been like Powerball odds, basically, if he accidentally fired the shot. I don't believe that. You did see a Secret Service agent with his rifle
Sure.
raised, but you've never seen it pointed at the president.
It was held at. I was held up.
It was held straight up. Yeah. So no, I never bought that.
But yes, that
That
that is definitely one of the. Yeah, yeah. I hear you, Tim. That's definitely one of the rumors.
yeah, yeah, it is. And there was a book written on that. It's called Mortal Error.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
no, I
yeah,
never bought that one.
see, Tim, I
Um,
think you're new to this little thing that we do. This is my boy Chris. He goes with the conspiracy side. I don't actually. Back when I was hanging out with you, Tim, I was on the conspiracy side. So I've changed. I don't. I think Oswald got the shots off all by himself.
and Tim, I'm not one of the uh, conspiracy guys that's going to throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and make up a bunch of fake stuff.
He's
Mike will
solid.
tell you that
He's solid.
Mike will tell you I can put up a good argument that there was a conspiracy, and I debunk all the stuff that was bullshit and stuff that was made up. And I'm not one of the guys who believe that the mob, the FBI, the CIA, Army Intelligence, Secret Service, the Russians, the Cubans were involved in it, and those types of things. My argument, I think, really, I think I have one of the. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but I think I do one of the best jobs of
No, what you do is
presenting it.
you're just skeptical to the mainstream thing.
Yes, I have many questions and many doubts, many stones that was left uncovered by the Warren Commission. I mean, and what I was fixing to say is about the Tippett thing, and what I'll get into is, there was 26 witnesses, but only 12 was ever called before the Warren Commission. The
Yeah.
people who were used to ID Oswald was not taken to the Warren Commission.
Right. I do. I know that. A lot of
But
people.
now
It's funny
I've
though. A lot
now
of people, and I think you were even amazed by this. A lot of people don't even know that a police officer was
Tippit
killed.
was shot that day. And another thing that I've already started writing down is how the witnesses who ID'd Oswald contradicted themselves in all of their statements to the Warren Commission.
You mean for the Tippit murder?
Yeah, yes, for the Tippit murder. Um, the Davis sisters contradicted each other in every question that was asked.
I'm not even using them because they did. They're idiots.
Yeah, but Tippett's going to be fun. That's the one I really can't wait to get into because I mean that's really my.
To be honest, it's all fun.
It is fun, and I mean and uh, you know, had there been a trial, we wouldn't be debating this 54 years after the fact.
Yeah, you can thank Jack Rubenstein for that.
But and I've always said this right here too. Even if Oswald was the lone assassin, it still does not prove there was not a conspiracy.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that, and I would lean towards that more than a full conspiracy.
And
More
I've
than
always,
him not doing anything. I definitely think he took shots.
and again, I think he didn't.
Yeah. But like Chris is an interesting cat, man. Like he'll tell you straight up. That's not a that shot. That's an easy shot. She's not. Well, he ain't gonna lie to you and say that's an impossible shot. He doesn't even go into that shit.
Um, I think it would have been a very difficult shot to make.
I've never heard you go too deep into that, man.
I did when we was going through the shots that
It's
was
not
fired. I mean,
definitely not impossible,
no, I would not say it's not impossible. I'd say it'd be very difficult.
especially the stress that you'd be under.
Stress should be under. But me and Mike have a lot of fun with it. We go back and forth. Um,
And when we're not
I
doing the
like how you,
JFK thing, we do these little podcasts where we talk
yeah.
about pretty much everything, politics.
Speaking of, did you see the President's State of the Union address?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I thought it was awesome, man. Um, I think if the president would focus more on what this economy is doing right now instead of getting into so much divisive stuff, he would have 70% approval ratings right now. I mean, we've got one of the strongest economies we've had in history. We've added 180,000 manufacturing jobs. 1.8 million jobs have been created. Um, Wages are on the rise. Unemployment's at 4.1%. Over $8.1 trillion has been invested in the stock market since he took office. Stock markets went up almost 6,000 points. I
Maybe
mean,
you can clear
strong.
this up for me. What is this thing about him uh, in the near future, like driving military tanks through the Capitol?
He's wanting to do a military parade, and I think this has to do with his infatuation with dictators. Like how the Russians have their military parade, the North Koreans, the Chinese, and I think more what it is just a show of strength to try to deter the rest of the world. I mean, China, North Korea, Russia, they like to show off their military
Yeah.
prowess, and I think it's just his way of saying, hey, you want to show off yours, let me show off ours.
Is it
Which
true
I'm
that
not
he
totally.
is it true that he wants people to applaud? It's mandatory. Chris? Chris. There you go.
Applaud what now?
Like that you it's mandatory to applaud while the military tanks and stuff are parading through.
I've not heard that. I just
Okay.
now heard earlier about him wanting to do a military parade through there, which I'm not against us having a military parade. But I've
No, I'm
not
not
heard that.
against that. I was just against that what I heard about it's mandatory that you have to applaud.
No, I don't think anybody should be mandatory applaud. That would be a violation of your First Amendment rights.
Yeah, that's like some friggin' Dooku Kim shit.
Yeah,
Kim Jong Il, whatever his name.
yeah, Kim Jong Un.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, y'all see that pin down there? Please subscribe to this channel.
Yeah. Oh, you need to check out this documentary on YouTube, Chris. It's actually about the fight that we would love to see. Tyson Prime, Ali Prime.
I'd like to see that.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's great. It's great. You know, it's got Tyson's corner men back in the day. They talk about why they think Mike would take Ali, and then there's guys saying why they think Ali would do it. It's a great documentary.
Do you ever watch some of these simulated fights, like what would have happened
Yeah,
if they'd have fought?
yeah.
Did you ever see the one with Tyson and old George Foreman?
No, who
It was
won?
pretty good. I think Tyson won. I'd have to go back and watch it. I can't remember, but I remember it went late. It went like 12 rounds,
Now
and
you're
I can't
talking a
remember if
prime
Tyson.
Mike Tyson, a prime
It was
Mike
prime.
Tyson.
It was prime Mike Tyson versus old George Foreman,
I think
and it
a
was
young
basically.
Foreman would have a better chance.
I don't know because young Foreman gave out easy. Old Foreman
Yeah, but he can
never.
move quicker, and you need to move quick with Mike.
Yeah, but see, Foreman, if you remember how he's fought his old Foreman would just throw his hands up
Yeah, I
with
know.
shots, and I think Tyson would become frustrated, would would
And
become weary.
Foreman had an excellent jab. Excellent jab.
And then, Tyson misses one of those, and then you get hit with that telephone pole.
That jab. His jab is a telephone pole, man.
Yeah. So it would have been, and then this fight, this simulation was basically showing the same thing. It was showing him rushing at him, and Foreman just throwing up and blocking the punches and
Yeah.
countering. It was pretty interesting.
I mean, I would love to be able to check and see who hits harder if they could ever calculate that.
That would be
I
interesting.
think George would. I would go with George.
Oh, most definitely, I'd go with George.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely go with
I
George.
mean, Tyson can got hammers, but
But
George was a
like I said,
freak.
with that telephone pole,
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about Tyson is his accuracy is what really
yeah,
fucks people up.
Foreman would have to. I mean, with old Foreman and young Tyson, Foreman would have to survive that initial onslaught
Yeah.
because
Yep.
you gotta remember he wouldn't knock Foreman down.
Ali did.
Yeah, but that was young Foreman.
Oh
Old
yeah,
Foreman had a
my
lot.
bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. Yep, I forgot. You
Old
go.
Foreman had a lot more weight on him.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, if Holyfield couldn't knock him down,
yeah. That's actually a good comparison.
yeah. I mean, he was taking some brutal punches from Holyfield, and Morrison couldn't knock him.
Holyfield was he's one of my favorite.
Yeah. What'd you think about the Super Bowl?
Ah man, you already know.
I
What do
know
you
I suck.
think?
I mean, if the defense just could have got off the field a few times, I mean, they'd have won. I mean, God, Brady threw for over 500 yards.
Hey, you can't win them all, man.
Yeah, I mean, God, He's been to 8 Super Bowls.
Am I hearing rumors that Belichick is leaving?
Somebody said that Belichick's not leaving until Brady leaves.
He does, if one leaves, the other is leaving.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Whatever Brady retires, Belichick's retired.
Yeah. But hey, I'll give it this, man. That was a good game.
It's a great game.
Great game.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's crazy how, no matter how much time is left on that clock, you can always tell that the opposing team has got that fear of Brady.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Did you see where after Trump's speech he got a 10-point bounce in his approval ratings?
no.
Yeah. I mean that was an awesome speech.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too. That actually, I enjoyed that a lot. I give credit where credit's due with him.
And a lot of people don't give him credit about the
Yeah,
type of orator he is. I mean, he's a great speaker.
those people are the ignorant. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, first of all, get over it. He won the presidency, okay?
Yeah, I mean, then some of these Democrats are still caught up in the race, and the race is over with. Get up here and lay down, Daga.
Yeah,
I mean, and they'll have their chance in 2 years to take him down, and
yeah.
and I don't see anybody that can beat him.
I don't even know who would be running.
Well, they're talking about Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, John Kerry. I mean, those guys can't beat him. Get up here and lay down.
Sanders
And
is
remember,
getting too old.
yeah, dude, he'll be 79 years old.
Yeah.
Biden will be 78. John Kerry will be 70.
I'm from
70.
Massachusetts. I'm not a John Kerry fan.
Yeah, I was never particularly crazy about Kerry either.
I don't mind Biden. I kind of like Biden.
Yeah, Biden's all right. You remember when I don't know if you remember during the going down the stretch, Biden was campaigning and he told Trump said, "I'd like to take you out behind the bar," and Trump said, "You want to go behind the bar, old man? Let's go behind the bar, and we'll see who comes. We'll see who walks back out."
Yeah. I
But
forgot all about that. Yeah,
I believe Biden would have met him behind the barn.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess that's an option for the Democrats. But for now, it is what it is, man.
I mean, if Hillary couldn't beat him, I don't see these other guys
Ah,
beating him.
well,
And
the
and
robot.
now all the Democrats say, "Oh, she was the worst candidate ever." I was like, "Well, during the race, y'all said this is the most qualified candidate ever run for president."
I wasn't saying that.
While the Democrats was, they was like, "Oh, this is the most qualified candidate we've ever had, most experienced, best candidate we've ever had," and I was like,
No
"Okay."
way.
And then after she gets beat, "Oh, that was the worst candidate ever."
Yeah, 'cause she fucking did horrible. She has no charisma. She's not charismatic whatsoever.
And Trump's a rock star.
He fucking bleeds charisma.
Oh yeah, I mean, just believes it.
I mean, hate him or love him, you gotta admit he's charismatic.
Oh, charismatic as hell, man, and funny.
Yeah, he definitely got some humor to him.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's hilarious, man.
Yeah,
Dude,
besides the State of the Union speech, which I thought was good, man. I liked it. I haven't heard much about Trump lately. Besides that,
yeah, I mean, they're still, trying to this witch hunt with Russia, which there's nothing there to that.
oh, they digging on that, aren't they?
Well, I mean, it's a fishing expedition, man. I mean, if you dig deep enough, you're going to find something on anybody,
Yeah, but they're digging deep for that one, man.
and they can't find nothing. It's been going on for a
That's
year
what
and a
I'm
half.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Um, yeah. Did I tell you what happened to me the other day?
What?
I'd pulled in this parking spot, turned the car off, and I was fixing to open the door, just kind of pulled the lever, but the door wasn't open. This dude jerks my door open and jumps in the car with me, and
What?
he was face to face with me, like an inch from my face. And this dude is crazy, man. He's like his eyes look just like Charles Manson's.
You
So
were
the first
holding.
thing I did was I
You were holding.
reached, I reached between the seat, and I brought out my 38,
Yeah.
and he took off running. And then there was these three elderly women that was standing out on the street, and he comes running up, threatening them, threatening to hurt them, threatening to kill them. And I got in between them. I was like, dude, you need to leave now. You need to
Who was
back
he trying to
off.
rob people or something?
I think I don't know if he was trying to hurt me. If I hadn't have drawn that, I think he was fixing to attack me.
Was he older than you?
I probably around my age.
Man,
The guy's
that's a sticky situation.
his eyes look just like Charles Manson. I mean, and like
Oh,
I turned the car off, just fixing to crack the door, and he jerked the door open and was in the car. And I mean, his face was this close to mine, and I pulled back like this right here and reached between the seat and grabbed the 38 and pulled out right there, and he jumped back and started running, and then started
Hell
running up to
yeah.
these old ladies like he was going to attack them, and I got in between them.
That's fucked up. Damn.
Yeah,
What'd he say it to you? Anything?
nothing.
Jesus Christ.
That's why I have a concealed carry weapon.
I was just gonna say that. That who the fuck knows what that guy could have done?
Yeah, I didn't know if he had a knife, weapon, and he was a lot bigger than me too.
Yeah. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yep. And and I don't want to.
No, you're
That's
not
just
like that. No, I know.
no. That's like that's the last thing I want to do. I never want to have to pull that. But I mean, if I
Shit.
hadn't have had that, there's no telling what that guy would have done to me.
For real, huh? That's not cool, man. Was it a
No, it's not
shady ass
that.
parking lot or something?
It was broad daylight, right out on the street.
What the hell? Are
Oh,
you vaping now, Chris?
yeah, man. I'm trying to quit smoking, so I'm vaping.
How much you pay for that rig?
That's about 50 something bucks.
That's it.
Yeah, you can get a bunch of ones a lot more expensive, but this one does the
Yeah, I
job.
know.
Let me get
I
some
know.
ice for my. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, to anybody that's watching, if you see that thing that's pinned at the bottom of the screen, that's our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I wish we could have got on live a while ago because we had like 10 viewers already when they first came on.
You know what, man? They're probably, for some reason, it does not give an accurate number. Like, if you look at this video after we're done later,
Yeah,
you'll see all the viewers, and you're like, what the fuck? It never said that shit when we were on there.
yeah.
Well, who the
Yeah,
hell
it
flew the planes into the building then?
does. Come on, put your cards on the table.
Annie up.
You're asking me to account for the other bullet, Mr. Bugliosi? Where's the third bullet under the Warren Commission report?
But you smell a rat, don't you?
But you kind of smell a rat there, don't you,
Don't
Cyril?
you, Cyril? Don't you, Cyril?
You're asking me to account for the bullets? You account for the bullet on the third bullet under the Warren Commission, Mr. Bugliosi.
But Cyril, it had to have hit something.
You
Cyril.
know, you know there were other bullet fragments found in the car, Mr. Bugliosi.
The boy came to the old man. He had a bird in his hands.
God, that was so awful.
God damn.
I mean, that was his last chance. That was his last chance.
Oh, he kamikazed that whole thing. He just
I mean,
went.
I was expecting a great closing argument,
No, he drove that thing right into the rocks.
and I was like, "Here's your last chance. It's your last chance to prove it."
I could have done one.
And oh yeah, you did a great one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, he took it as a joke. Bugliosi came to battle.
Yeah. He's really good, man. You see him talk about Manson, dude. If anybody got Manson clocked down, it's Bugliosi.
Have you ever listened to some of the debates between Bugliosi and Cyril
All of
about
them.
this?
All of them.
Oh.
They're the best. I love Cyril.
Have you ever watched Joseph McBride's Into the Nightmare?
What?
Joseph McBride, he was the one who wrote this book about Tippit murder. And
I
it's called
haven't.
Into.
No, what? There's a movie on it?
No, he's on a radio show and he's talking about his book and it's called Into the Nightmare.
Yeah,
And
where can I hear that? Where can I check that out?
pull it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down right now. I'd like to hear that.
And there's like a 54-minute segment on it. He spent 30 something years investigating it.
That's going to be me. What's it called?
Into the Nightmare. Joseph McBride, and just Google or YouTube Into the Nightmare Joseph McBride. And there's like a 54-minute segment on there and it goes into a lot of stuff.
Got some notes. All right. Oh, that's the doctor from Parkland that I forgot about. Jenkins.
Oh, I forgot about him too.
Yeah. He's the one that stood at the president's head. Malcolm Perry started the trade.
Yes, Jenkins was the one who actually did the actually examine the wound.
Yeah, he was standing at the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Malcolm Perry started the trach.
And
Yep.
then you've got Dr. Crenshaw's notes, who talked about
And
the two wounds.
also Carrico, Dr. Carrico, Perry, Jenkins, Jones, and Baxter were the only ones to see the original wound in the neck before they put the trach in.
Crenshaw did too.
I think I said Crenshaw. I don't know. I don't know. I got some. I can't really read what I wrote here.
Baxter, Jenkins, Perry,
Yep.
Crenshaw,
Jones.
and Jones. And I wish there was a picture I could get up that shows like 10 doctors and they've all got their hands at the back of their head.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, you got your hands full of that one, brother.
I know. It's a tough case, man. But at least I'm not battling nonsense. That's with you, I'm not battling the fucking bullshit. There's so much bullshit with this case. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so much stuff is made up.
That's what I'm talking about. And I don't have to deal with that with you. It's so much easier.
Like when you said your family said something about a shot from the Drade, you said, well, if Chris didn't bring that up, then it's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're basically on the same page with this case. I mean, we just think different outcomes, but as far as what when, we're not really too much different. I was looking into the theater. The theater section's that's gonna be a long section.
Yeah, because there's a lot of contradictory statements in there.
Again, I gotta thank God thank God I'm debating you because there's so much bullshit even with the theater part.
Yes, because you have so many people that said Oswald never drawed down.
Yeah, I believe Oswald drew his revolver. I don't know.
Well, the thing about it is when they were wrestling, there were so many cops that said they had their hands on the butt of the revolver when it was still in his um, belt. So how did he draw down if it was in there?
Yeah,
John Brewer said he never drawed down.
yeah.
But
I
what
think
say?
Brewer also said something to the point. Something to the didn't the police say, "Oh, shoot the president, do you?" Or something like that.
Yeah,
And I think Brewer said they never even said that,
right.
or something like that. I could be wrong.
But
Something
see, the
along
thing
those lines.
about Officer McDonald's report, his incident report, was not written until December 2nd.
Bruh. He's the one that allegedly grabbed the
Okay.
revolver.
Yeah, he says that got his hand in there and the revolver snapped. Other police officers said it was never drawn. Um, but
Yeah.
that's going to be a good segment for the
I,
theater.
see. All these segments are fun to me. I don't know. I like all of them.
Yeah, I just can't wait to get to Tippett.
Yeah, I was watching, but back to Bugliosi, man. I was watching some shit on fucking Manson with him. Dude, he had a tough time prosecuting that guy.
Well, think about it. Batson did never kill anybody.
Yeah, well, not in the murders that they were,
Right.
yeah,
Had people killed him. So he had a tough time convicting him of murder when Batson never killed anybody.
yeah, man. And a lot of really weird, like, apparent, like, kind of paranormal shit went on too. Like he would just stare at Bugliosi in the courtroom, just stare at him for hours on end. And then one time the clock stopped and the electricity went out and the lights went out in the court. Fucking
I
crazy.
didn't know. I didn't know about
Yeah,
that.
I think it was Manson who coined the term "the bug" for Bugliosi.
I think it was too.
Yeah,
The bug.
but man, dude, I never realized how hard of a time they had of getting Manson. Now they had the others pinned,
Oh yeah, they
but
have the
not.
others. But and I didn't realize it until I started doing the research on it. Like that was really a tough case to get a conviction on.
Yeah, yep,
Because, like I said, Manson didn't kill anybody.
nope. He's a very strange cat, man.
Yeah, I started reading about his history and like his childhood and stuff.
He only has like 15 years of his life out of prison.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I mean, and I was reading something about. I think when he was 13, he was in some kind of boys' home and they sodomized him with a broomstick.
Yeah,
And
yep,
I think he cut somebody's throat in there.
yep. He was
I
a
mean, that
pimp.
just, yeah, I mean, that whole thing was just crazy.
Yeah, He reset. Well, how long ago did he die? Not too long ago, right?
About a year ago, maybe not even a year.
Man, at his parole hearings, he would just walk in and be like, "Don't let me out." This guy was crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Don't
mean,
let me out.
if there is such a thing as the devil, he was definitely possessed by him.
Yeah. Bugliosi called that, like you said, you brought up Manson's stare, how he had that stare.
That's
Bugliosi
how that
called
dude.
Bugliosi calls it the Manson lamps.
That's how that dude was staring at me, man, in that car.
Like those black eyes, man.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't understand these cults. Like I was watching a thing the other night with. It was after it was about Waco and how
Oh
this.
yeah.
I mean, and I'm like, how did he brainwash all of these people to think he was the son of God?
Shit, man. He's not the only one.
No, I mean, there's been a lot of people that did that.
Jonestown.
But you know what? I had a whole problem with that. That our government sent in military tanks.
Yeah, dude, you seen how they did that?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, hey, these guys should have been prosecuted.
Not that it's a conspiracy, just that was kind of fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole way they handled it. I mean, those guys should have been prosecuted for that.
And the flamethrower thing and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you used
There was
military.
women and kids in there.
Yeah, and you used military equipment against your own citizens.
Yeah. And they were blaring like Metallica outside to like aggravate them.
And I mean, and I really don't think they were a threat. I mean, I know they had some weapons in there, but it wasn't, they had the
I
compound, but
don't
I
know.
really,
I don't know the case enough. That guy. What was his name, dude? I can't even think of his name right now.
David Koresh.
Koresh. Yeah.
What really got him was it brought it on was, he had all those teenage girls in there that he was fathering all those kids with. And then
Yeah.
he made all the men stop having sex with their wives, and he
Yeah.
took them on as their wives and started fathering all these children.
Yeah. That's typical cult leader shit right there.
I mean, I just don't know how you can get in somebody's brain like that.
Manson did it.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
You know who was present at that Waco shit? What's his
Um,
name?
Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah.
I've always, I always want to know who the third man was.
You talking about the Oklahoma City bombing?
Yeah, because remember, it
Yeah.
was him, it was Terry Nichols, then there was,
At the rent a truck place.
yeah, and there was a
Yeah.
third guy there that was doing all the talking, and they never found him. And one thing I always had a problem with that case is, and again, I'm not trying to get a conspiracy. So Timothy McVeigh goes up there, sets this truck off, blows it up.
Yeah.
Then he leaves with a car with no plates and a weapon on him.
Very stupid.
Very stupid. And they was actually about to release him.
Yeah. What was that about?
Well, they had him. He had a weapon on him, and
Yeah.
he didn't have a license for it. So they was holding him on that, and they
Yeah.
really it took them 2 or 3 days to actually tie him to what was going on. And then, if you remember, right before they was fixing to execute him, because his lawyers tried to get a stay, there was 10,000 documents that the government withheld from his defense team.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that. How did they end up pinning that on him?
McVeigh,
Yeah.
um,
He
I think
confessed,
it
didn't
was,
he?
I did think he confessed, but I think it was the Ryder truck that
Oh yeah, yes, the rental, yeah.
yeah. And then the buying of the fertilizer.
Yeah. Did that other guy do any time with him?
He got life in prison.
McNichols or whatever?
Yeah, Terry Nichols or McNichols.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Nichols. He got life in prison. Now, how he didn't get the death penalty, I don't know how he didn't get the death penalty either.
Because he wasn't there? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's not, I mean, I know just the basics of the case. I don't know much about it.
But do you remember what the first reports were at the bombing was? Don't you?
What, yeah, what was it, Arabs or something?
Arab terrorist.
Yeah. Well, that's usually typically the first suspects in bombings.
But I don't understand why. Okay, he wanted to get back with the government for what happened at Waco. Why did you bomb the Oklahoma City federal building? I don't get that.
Uh,
Why that? Why that of all places?
if I'm correct, I think there was some other affiliations in that building. I think I don't know. I think some FBI shit was going on in there. I don't know for sure. That's actually a fucking crazy documentary I seen on that, man. Those people that were pinned in the rubble and stuff that were still alive but pinned and couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be terrifying.
No, I can imagine.
The,
Did
what,
they
what
ever find in 9/11? Was there survivors that was ever found in the rubble? I can't remember.
Not survivors. No. That would be the most terrifying thing to have to jump out of that building like they did. That's
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. I mean, they couldn't. I
breathe.
mean, they couldn't breathe, so you have to think. You know.
That's terrifying.
And what I can't understand is why did they set up their command and control center in the basement of that building?
What do you mean?
When the
What?
fire department and police showed up on, and they was basically walking in to hell as they was going up the steps to try to save these people. The command and
Yeah.
control center was set up in the basement, and there was that chaplain who was walking back and forth and praying. And he was actually listed as the first casualty because one of the people who jumped off the building landed on top of him and killed him.
Oh
And there's
my
actually
God.
yeah,
I didn't know
and there's
that
actually
shit.
yeah, the chaplain showed up there and he was walking around praying and all this right here. And one of the people who jumped out of the building fell on top of him and killed him. And there's actually a picture of the fireman with him in a bag carrying him away.
Jesus.
And you know what? George W. Bush had a chance to go down as the greatest president in American history, the way he handled that the days following. And then he just totally bungled it by going to war in Iraq.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say because he was down in Florida or whatever reading to a second grade class or whatever it
No,
was.
no. I mean, by the way, I mean, because he showed great leadership the days following it. Like, remember when he went up there and he was speaking on that megaphone and they said, "We can't
Yeah.
hear you." And he got up there and he goes, "Well, can you hear me now? Well, pretty
Yeah.
soon the people who did this, they're going to hear us too."
Yeah.
But his whole intent was to go to war with Iraq because that night he was with his national security advisor and they said, "Find me a tie between this and Iraq." And his national security advisor said, "Mr. President, there is no tie."
They did, yeah, no, without a doubt, they used that.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Wolfowitz, who was he he was they called him the architect, and I forgot what his title was in the administration, but he worked with a conservative think tank in the 90s, and they were actually trying to find an entrance strategy to go into Iraq as early as 1997 when Clinton was still in office.
Yeah.
So, so that whole
Uh,
administration, every intentions of going to war with Iraq, and
what for oil?
I don't think it was for oil because we get very little oil from the Middle East. Most of our oil we get from Canada and Venezuela. I think it was just a
Positioning?
global positioning because we dominate every other continent in the world
Yeah.
except for the Middle East. So we
Makes
wanted to
sense.
get we wanted to get a foothold in the Middle East. See, the reason that, and I've said that about a conspiracy, the only way I'd go along with a conspiracy in 9/11 is that our government let it happen in
Yeah,
order for
I
us
know,
to
I
have.
know, I know you're not down with the whole.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because let's think about this right here. If 9/11 had never happened, our country never would have got behind us going to war in Iraq.
unless they figured out some other way.
I
But
mean, they was dead set. I mean, they never let the inspectors go in there and do their jobs. I mean,
yeah,
well, he didn't have
every
any weapons.
every every war we've gone into, we've gone. It's always been some shady ass entrance into the war. You know?
Well, I mean, like Pearl Harbor. I mean,
Yeah,
Battleship Row.
exactly,
They was baiting them. I mean,
exactly. Vietnam, the Gulf of Tonkin.
Gulf of Tonkin, false flag.
Um, all those goddamn fucking not is it Nicaragua and shit like that.
Yeah. The Spanish American War. I mean, they say that we blew up the Havana or
Yeah, yeah,
that ship to get us into war with that so we could take the Spanish territory.
yeah. We definitely bully our way into shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a continuation of Manifest Destiny. You know, Manifest
Yeah,
Destiny was supposed to control everything from sea to sea. I mean, look what we did with to Mexico. I mean, we basically just took their shit.
yeah. I mean, Hitler basically didn't want no part of us, right?
Hitler had it set up that he wanted to take England out of the war, and then his next thing after he conquered Europe, then it was going to be a war against the United States because he wrote a second book that never really got published, and he thought the war to control the world was the war with the United States. And here's an interesting fact that you probably know: Hitler only declared war on one nation, and that was the United States.
He didn't declare war on Poland.
Nope. The only country he ever declared war on was the United States because he was allies. Because the United States, Japan bombed us, so the United States, we still didn't have a reason to get into World War to get into Europe. So
Yeah,
when we declared war on Japan, then Hitler turned around and declared war on the United States, and that gave us our reason that we could go into war with Germany.
that's a tough war, man. Those are some fucking tough Americans right there, boy.
Yep. And the thing about those guys back then, you know, you got so many people getting out of it now. I mean, you
That's
had
our grandparents.
everybody. Yeah, I mean, you know, you think about it, all the Kennedy brothers, they win. I mean, they could have got out of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at
Goddamn
all the
John F.
actors.
Kennedy went through hell over there.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the actors that, you know, left. Coach Bryant, who was at Alabama, he had just taken the head coaching job at Arkansas on December 6th, and on December 7th, we
Bombing.
was attacked. He resigned as head coach of Arkansas, joined the Navy.
Yeah, different cut from a different cloth, man.
Different breed, man. I mean, that's why I think that, you know, we're a weak nation now.
Soft, definitely.
I mean, and one thing too, like when these people, the American public can't stomach casualties.
Well, the facts. You know that I seen them saying that about Vietnam when a Viet Cong would get hit with a bullet, they didn't freak out like, "Oh my God, I'm hit, I'm hit, I'm hit." But an American would take a bullet and it would freak out.
Yeah.
And you know, you're a military guy. You're not supposed to freak out. You're supposed to stay calm so your blood doesn't.
Yes, you don't go into shock.
Yeah.
But I mean the American public in general, they will not stomach casualties like other countries will,
No, you're right. Yeah.
you know. And that's what
Why is that? Do you
Saddam's
think?
general. I think because we're so advanced and, you know, we live such a great life here with our sporting events, you know, our TVs, you know, our
Cradles.
gaming system, yeah, and you know, in some of these other countries, they live such hard lives, and uh,
Hard.
yeah, I mean, can you imagine if we had a draft now and they're trying to send one of these rich kids from like Greenwich Village?
Hey, man. It's a
I
great
mean, you
point.
yeah, or if they instituted a draft, you'd have a revolt. I mean, there'd be riots in the streets if they tried to draft these rich kids.
Facts. Fact. God, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never have people like that again.
No, I remember my grandfather had a German bayonet that he took from a German soldier. Fucking badass.
I bet it was.
Yeah. You remember
Yeah.
you ever see the SS, the German SS soldiers, how sharp they looked?
Oh yeah, man.
And
Well, you got to
in no
remember
way, in
the
no way am I
Prussian was.
giving credence to the Nazis. They're pieces of
Oh,
shit.
not at all. But the Prussians, or which the Germans was, they were always a martial country. I mean, they prided themselves on their military and the strength of
Yeah,
their military. Clausewitz was the first one who had promoted a general staff, and the um, basis of war, economy of force,
yeah.
stuff like that. I took that,
Uh,
and
when we got all their scientists, us in Russia, we got that dude Werner von Braun,
yeah, who
and
caved
dude,
Alabama, started NASA.
they said if that were today, he would be charged with crimes against humanity because
The
he
stuff that he did, yes, that's the reason he got away with it is because of who he was.
yeah,
Yeah, I
because
mean
he
that
would
guy was.
dude at the science plant that he worked at in Germany, they would hang the slowest guy every day. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean he would have went. I mean he would have been executed.
For yeah, charged with crimes against humanity for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
But he was
again,
brilliant.
again, talking about brainwashing people. I mean, Hitler had, everybody thought, but if we would have treated Germany different at the end of World War One, World War Two would have never
Yes,
happened. World
yes.
War Two was just
That was Hitler's whole beef.
yeah, World War Two was just an extension of World War One. I mean, we laid the whole blame on Germany's feet and made them pay for everything, and it was just World War Two was just an extension of World War One.
But Hitler was just a straight madman. That whole final solution and the Holocaust, Jesus.
Yeah, I never understood what his thing against the Jewish people was. I've heard different things. I heard that his father was half Jewish and he hated his father. Then I
Yeah.
heard that his mother was sick and he took his mother to a Jewish doctor and she died and he blamed it on her. But I just never understood what
Yeah.
his thing with Jews. But he wanted this master race and
Yeah.
blonde hair, blue eye. Well, Hitler didn't even have blonde hair and blue
It's
eyes.
not at all. Not even close.
So I don't know what it was.
What they did to those people, man, that's sick. Sick shit.
I mean, it was genocide.
Horrible, man. Horrible. It didn't matter who you were, the elderly, the children,
I mean, and it wasn't just Jews. I mean, it was Poles,
no.
Slavs,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, in the Eastern Front. Man, that was such a slaughter.
Oh my God. They would be like, all right, here's a bar of soap, and then get in there and take a shower. They go in there, it's a freaking gas chamber. They all die.
Yeah, I mean, it was just and those people were so loyal. I mean, they fought to the death for him.
Yeah. So didn't the Japs.
If we had not have used the atomic weapons, they estimated it would have been 1 million U.S. casualties to take Japan because just what it took to take Okinawa and Iwo Jima, I mean, we suffered so many casualties. They said it would have taken 1 million casualties to take that because they would have fought to the death.
I believe it. You see them jumping off the freaking mountains and shit.
Yeah, because they was afraid that we was going to kill them. I mean, I actually believe had we not used the atomic weapons, that war probably would have went on for another 2 to 3 years
Yeah.
with Japan.
And we dropped those two bad Larrys on them.
And they was still refusing to surrender until the emperor stepped in.
I know. It was like the first time they heard his voice or something.
Yeah, it could have been because the military had basically taken over Admiral or General Tojo or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. They're tough guys, dude. Japs. I mean, they got that samurai shit in their blood.
Oh yeah, I mean the bonsai charges they would do at night, charging machine gun nests
Yeah, man.
would hole up in those holes, and and I mean like in I mean like we basically in Iwo Jima and um, Okinawa, we basically had to kill every Japanese person there. There was only a few hundred that was actually taken prisoner.
Yeah, I know. If you go back in time in the history of the Japanese, man, they're battling fucking nation, man.
Oh, most definitely.
Like the samurai were badass.
Yeah, they were.
Badass, man.
I
The,
was
they're-
rewatching.
those fucking samurai swords, man, the rail ones from the back in the day, they were like razor blades.
I remember you asked me a while back my favorite, and I forgot today. Forgot it. I wasn't thinking my favorite war movie, and I can't believe I didn't remember. My favorite war movie of all time was Gettysburg. Have you ever seen it?
Of course. It's a great one.
Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this part of the movie, but it was during the charge, and they'd got to the fence, and Armistead was like, "Move out, boys!" And he looked down at this one kid who was kind of shaking. He said, "Come on, boy, what do you
Oh, the
think
kid that
yourself
was
tomorrow?"
terrified.
And he goes,
The kid that was terrified.
"Yeah." And he go, and Armistead goes, "Virginians, Virginians, with me. Who will come with me?" And he put his hat on his sword, and that actually happened because the smoke was so thick they couldn't see. So he put his hat on his sword so his soldiers could follow him. Well, there's a part after they start to move out. This guy goes, "Move out, boys," and you see him get shot, and he falls back. Well, that was actually Ted Turner who made the movie because Ted Turner is a Civil War reenactor.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch that movie, man. I haven't seen that in a while. It's a great
Oh,
movie.
oh, it's great, man. It was
Yeah,
based on the book The Killer Angels. You need to read that book.
yeah, I've heard about it. You ever see the movie The Last Samurai?
Yeah, with Tom Hanks. I mean,
Tom
not
Cruise.
Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise. Yeah,
It's a good movie.
yeah,
They were so efficient with that sword, man. It's unbelievable.
yeah,
And the way that they would commit Harry Carey, that suicide shit.
yeah. Because that's what they did at the end with Tom Hanks or
God.
Tom Cruise. And I was reading this thing the other day. It was talking about again about when the pickets charged and as they was getting close and the rebels let out with that blood curdling rebel yell and the Union troops started retreating from their position because
It's
they
a
said it
rebel
was just
yell.
blood. It was just blood curdling when they heard it.
Imagine what that must have sounded like. Shit.
I mean, 15,000 people going la 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 la.
Psycho. Hang on a second, Chris. I gotta run in the other room and get a pack of smokes. Yeah, have you had any recommendations on some good movies that can any recent ones?
You know, I don't really watch a lot of movies, man.
Neither do I because I think a lot of movies suck nowadays.
Yeah, and they're remaking all these movies. You know, they did.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Like, I got so pissed because I turned you on to that John Wayne stuff, and John Wayne made a great movie called True Grit, and then they remade that movie,
Oh,
and I was like, oh, you just.
now that you brought it up, you gotta say the line. Broken hip.
He goes, he tore that boy's glasses up. He goes, all right, we've seen what you can do with the boy. How are you when they come a little bigger? And Bruce Stern goes, you mean you? He goes, yeah, you having any of it? He goes, well, sir, you're a pretty old man. He goes, yeah, I'm 30 years older than you are. I've had my back broke once, my hip twice, and on my worst day, I could beat the hell out of you.
Ah! Fuck yeah, baby. Dude, that is the sickest line. I recently watched High Plains Drifter, with fucking classic. Chris.
What about that other part where he goes, and now you understand. Anything happens, anything at all, your fault, my fault, I'm going to blow your head off. No matter who it happens, I'm going to blow your head off.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that opening scene when I was talking about? It was one of the greatest lines when he comes down there and they're fixing to hang that guy, and he goes, you really shouldn't butt anybody's
Hey.
business. He goes, that's right, friend. He said, I shouldn't butt anybody's business. He goes, sheep herder, you want to sell those sheep? And he said, yeah. He goes, all right, you're working for me now. And he pulls that knife out and he goes, you go ahead. You go ahead and you try to cut that rope. He goes, if anything I like better than one hanging, it's two hanging. He goes, no, you got me scared. Do it. And he goes, you cut it. It's just who in the hell do you think you are? Jacob McCandle. Oh, you're dead, Mr. McCandles.
What movie is that from?
Big Jake. Oh no, that's yeah, Big Jake.
Oh yeah. Oh god damn it. Fucking those are classics. You and my dad could have a conversation about those movies forever because he loves them.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, and you got to watch one called El Dorado. That was a great one too.
I just watched High Plains Drifter again.
And watch The Shootist. That was the last movie he ever made.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that was the last movie he ever made. He was an aging gunfighter. He was made in 1976. He was an aging gunfighter that was dying of cancer. So on the day of his birthday, there was three guys that was wanting to have a gunfight with him. So he had to meet him in the saloon and had a gunfight with him
In the
and killed all three.
saloon.
Yeah,
Old
killed all
school.
three.
Yeah, like I'd rather watch those movies than any of these new shits that are out.
Um, El Dorado was a good one. That was a great movie, John Wayne movie too.
I just watched
But
another great movie, True Romance. You've seen True Romance, right?
uh-uh.
Oh yeah, you have. Come on, man. Definitely have. Christopher Walken.
Ain't he the one that was on that boat with Natalie Wood when when she got pushed in that water
Oh no.
by
Christopher
her husband?
Walken. Christopher Walken's in Deer Hunter and shit.
I think Christopher Walken was on that boat when Natalie Wood got pushed in that water by her husband.
And died, right?
Yeah, she drowned. She had a fear for um, she had a fear of drowning, and Christopher Walken was supposedly having an affair with her, and then he pushed her in the water, and she drowned.
You could be right. I don't know.
They've been trying to investigate that case for the last 30 something years. I
Oh,
can't
it's
think of
that
her
old?
husband. Yeah, oh yeah, it was in 1981.
Oh my God, that.
And then they keep trying to reopen the case, but I'm like, you're talking about a 30-something-year-old case. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but Christopher Walken was great. Yeah,
Deer Hunter. He's incredible in Deer Hunter.
I can't believe you just now got into the John Wayne movies, man.
Well, I grew up watching them with my dad, but I never really fucking realized how great they are for what they're worth. They're cheaply made movies. They're excellent.
Yeah, those lights he has, it'll just perfect, man.
Oh, yeah, you rejuvenated my inkling to like those movies because you nail those lines, Chris. You say them so fucking good, dude.
I mean, I can do him just like him.
I'll blow
He
your
crossed
head
his
off.
heart. Yeah, because that guy he throws that key. That's the stuff dreams are made of. And that guy opened the box up and looked up at him. He pointed that double barrel shotgun. And said, "Now you understand. Anything happens,
Yeah.
anything at all. My fault, your fault, nobody's fault. I'm gonna blow your head off."
That's, dude, how you gotta be? That's a line, man. Like,
Because remember, I told him that first that they was gonna blow that kid's head off, and then John Wayne pointed that right in his face. And the guy goes, "What's he saying?" He goes, "I can't hear him." And he had that dog. He'd say, "Dog."
are those on Netflix, man?
I don't know, man. I don't have Netflix.
Oh shit. Did you see The Revenant?
No.
Yeah, you would like that.
Um, Probably. Did you ever see Gods and Generals?
No. Nope.
I wasn't crazy about that one.
Lords of War is good too. Nicolas Cage.
I like Nicolas Cage.
Me too, man. So many people dog on him. I like him.
Yeah. Wasn't he in that movie 8 mm?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Because he went back and killed that guy who killed that girl.
Yeah.
What do they call them films again?
What do you mean?
There's some kind of name for them where it's like they have like a sex scene and they kill somebody in it. I mean,
I
I
don't
forgot
know.
what they, I forgot what the name of it was, but it used to be a thing. It was real weird.
I have no idea. Huh.
God, what was it's on the tip of my tongue. Um,
Mickey Rourke used to make some good movies, man.
I like Eastwood. Did you see
Oh,
that? Did you see that post I put the other day that had Nancy Pelosi going, "How do we stop
yeah.
mass shootings?" and had Eastwood with that rifle saying, "Shoot back."
Yeah. True. It's true.
True.
If that's what it's going to
All it
come
takes,
to, I mean,
all it takes is one responsible gun owner.
it shouldn't have to come to that, but
No, it shouldn't.
But I think you nailed it when you said that just people are soft nowadays, man.
Yeah, they are. I mean, um, it's got to a point that I don't know. We've just became so. I don't know. I don't mean to sound harsh, but so bleeding heart. Um, it's almost became a Robin Hood type situation where you're robbing from everybody else to give to the poor. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say the poor doesn't need help, but
Oh,
I look at when
I know you, dude. You don't have to
I'm
explain to me.
I'm I'm taxed to death. I mean taxed to death.
What?
I mean just on my paychecks. I mean
Oh,
just the
oh, you,
property
yeah.
taxes. Just the property taxes I had to pay on my father's estate last year. I mean, like, oh my God.
Is that the place that you've been posting that you're trying to sell?
Yeah.
Dude, why ain't you getting any fucking bites on that? That's fucking looks like a hell of a piece of land.
It well the lad I tried to sell the lad and I have to get some land, but some guy offered me $35,000 for it, which I turned down because the it's appraised at the tax appraisal is 54,000, and my
Yeah.
father paid $45,000 for it
Yeah,
22
so you don't
years
want to
ago.
take the loss, yeah.
Yeah, I can take a loss on it, and I'm not desperate to sell it. I mean, I can hold on to it forever. The house is just so big, man. It's got like 8 bedrooms in it. It's going to be a hard house to
Wow.
sell.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is that where you were taking pictures of all that furniture and shit? Or is that your own
hmm
shit?
Now that's all my parents' stuff, and my parents made a lot of money, and they just spent and spent and spent. I mean, just and I guess I'm just going to have an estate sale and try to sell it.
I mean, I don't see any reason why you would have a hard time selling it, getting rid of that. I don't know.
I mean, I get some offers, but they're trying to lowball me, and I'm like, nah, I'll pass.
Are you advertising the fuck out of it?
Oh yeah, I've got it all on Facebook. I've got it on all these trading sites, stuff like that. I've got it on Let Go. I've got it,
Oh,
everywhere, and just can't get. Like I said, I get some offers, and people are just lowballing me.
where is it exactly?
The land's in Blount County, Alabama.
Is that far from the city?
It's about 35 miles from Birmingham.
Not bad.
Mm-mm. I mean, and it's a place that a lot of people are moving out of the city, so wouldn't be that far of a commute to work,
No,
and it's a
not at
good
all.
school system.
That's actually a very reasonable distance. That's not bad at all.
And especially now that we're fixing to get that Amazon plant here, and we're getting a Toyota plant and a Mazda
Yeah.
plant.
Yep. Yep.
You know, so there's a lot of jobs and industries coming to Alabama. Now we've had to give a lot of tax breaks to them, which I don't really mind them giving them 20 years where they don't have to pay taxes as long as it's bringing 20 and $25 an hour jobs here,
Yeah. I
for
mean, yeah.
people.
Yeah. Peter pays Paul. You know.
Yeah, and they're saying this Amazon plant, this Amazon thing is going to create, $50,000 a year jobs for, you know,
I think
three
they're
or four
putting one in
thousand people.
Boston too. No,
Are they?
I don't know. I thought I heard that.
Amazon's about to put every mall and retail thing out of business. And we have so many closed malls here.
Oh, same here, dude. Remember back
And
if you, I mean, just think 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, the mall was like everything.
oh yeah, man, that's where everybody wanted to go, hang out, and all kind of stuff. And I mean, nobody goes anymore. I mean, the thing about me with Amazon, there's some things I don't mind buying it, but as far as clothes and stuff, I want to see
Yeah,
the clothes. I want to try the clothes on.
yeah, definitely. I
Um,
agree.
I'm gonna go to the restroom. I'll be right back.
All right. Subscribe to our channel.
Yes, please subscribe. I've got to. So you said you've read this book, right?
Oh yeah, I have that. Yeah,
My friend got this for me a couple years ago, and I've just never read it yet.
dude, that's one of the best conspiracy books, I think.
I'll try to get into it.
It goes deep into a lot of JFK's under the table conversations with Castro uh, and with the Pope. He used to write to the Pope a lot.
Really?
Yeah, you would like that book, man.
We tried to discuss this the other night. I really can't understand, with their mob ties and how the mob helped them get elected, why Bobby Kennedy went after the mob.
Well, I was just talking about that with my dad, actually.
I mean, it's like,
He didn't just go after the mob, man. He was sick in the dogs on them, boy.
but they helped put him into office. I mean, they delivered Illinois for him.
For Jack.
If you can, yeah, I watched because I love going back and watch election returns, and there was Walter Cronkite and them. There was something that was going on, and I think this is when Giancarlo delivered the votes. Um, Certain percent was coming in, and they said something has just happened in Illinois that is that was not reported a few moments ago. Suddenly, John Kennedy is showing much more strength coming out of the cities in Illinois than was first reported. We're not sure where these votes are coming from, and that's when Pat Buchanan made the statement that the cemetery wars were coming in heavily for Kennedy.
Yeah, who is the what mobs did they have out there? Who is running the show over there?
I thought it was Giancarlo.
Could have been, yeah.
Um,
Could have been.
but wasn't Giancarlo more of a New Orleans guy?
Sam, yeah, Sam Giancana, yeah.
Yeah, and Marcello's.
Yeah, no, that's the New Orleans guy, Marcelo,
Yeah,
right?
Marcello's was. I thought
Or are
Giancarlo.
they both?
They both, I think, had ties with New Orleans.
Well, both of them were big dogs, man. Both of them were serious cats.
What's interesting now is now they're releasing. First, the War Commission said there was no ties between Ruby and the mob, and now this stuff is coming out that Ruby had a lot more mob connections.
That's like you said. That doesn't. You don't subscribe to the whole mafia thing.
Not that the mob killed Kennedy. I find something
Ruby definitely
eyebrow
had mob
raising.
ties. I mean,
Well, I find something eyebrow raising that when you look at Ruby's phone records, he had like just a few phone calls to Chicago in the months, and then 3 months prior to the assassination, he was having thousands of phone calls
yeah, and
to people.
didn't they Carlos Marcello get like sent out of the country and had to live
I think that was Giancotti.
and he was in prison or something somewhere, right?
They deported him to
Oh,
Guatemala.
man, I've heard that rumors that Ruby was visited him there.
I've heard that too. Um, um, the Ruby thing's just is the enigma in all this to me.
It is. It is. I mean, it's the fucking the end of the movie, you know. It's
I mean, see, I just don't buy that Ruby walked in there and killed him to save Jackie Kennedy from a trial.
there definitely could be more to it. Definitely be more to it. Those are things we'll never know, man.
And you know what? That I was surprised. The other day I was reading, and I thought he was a lot older than this. But you know, Jim
Oh,
Lavelle is still alive.
yeah, yeah.
Like Jim Lavelle, he was the guy in the white hat that was handcuffed to
Handcuffed.
Oswald. All right.
Yeah.
Well, do you know when? Do you know he was only like 41 or 42 at that time? I thought the guy was probably in his mid 60s.
He did look up there, didn't he?
Yeah, he's 97 now, and I thought the guy was probably in his 60s then, and he was only like 42.
He's 97. Good for him, man. Hell yeah.
97, still alive. Yeah, still sharp as a tack.
Yeah, I've seen his interviews. Good for He doesn't even look 97.
Mm-mm.
I wish I
And I
wish
also have. Go
I
ahead.
wish Fritz did more interviews. I would like to hear from Fritz more.
Well, you know,
He spent the most time with Lee.
he did. Well, you know, and I don't know if you've seen a lot of the interviews. You know, Curry believes there was a shot from the knoll.
Yeah, I know. Curry was in the motorcade.
Yeah. Well, I watched an interview with him. I don't know, it's probably 20 years later, and he was walking through it, and Curry definitely believes there was more than one gunman.
It's not hard to believe that.
No, it's not hard to believe it. That's exactly right.
It's not hard to believe that. So much
No,
shit.
I mean,
There's just so much shit. It's definitely the most investigated murder case, and probably the most important murder case in the history of the country.
um, probably I would say that maybe Lincoln would be up there with
Yeah,
it
that's up there. Yeah,
because there was definitely a conspiracy with that. Um,
maybe Martin Luther King.
yeah, I would say Dr. King too.
Not as big as JFK though.
Probably because, I mean, you know, JFK was president.
You know,
Um,
Malcolm X's assassination never gets much light, and they know who
no,
did it. They know
yeah.
it was the black Muslims.
And you know, and Bobby's too. You know, there was a lot of questions with that. I mean, you know, there were more bullet holes found than shots that was actually fired.
What, Malcolm?
No, with Bobby.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. Something.
And Bobby was shot. They said with 2 inches from behind the ear.
Fuck that guy get that close.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to get more into that. I mean, because I mean, I've always just been fascinated with JFK, but I mean, they said that the shot behind the ear was within 2 inches, and he never got that close.
That's what I just said. How the fuck did he get that close?
And then there was a video of there was a officer that had his weapon drawn when he was on the ground. There was more bullet holes than was found.
Do you have any
Than was
book? Do
shot.
you have any books in that case?
No, I don't.
I need to get one.
I think the reason it's not really looked at as more is because Oswald is still more of a whodunit.
Yeah.
Because yeah, because I mean, you know, Sirhan was right there, you know, and I've heard some of this stupid stuff about
Oh,
Sirhan was a Manchurian candidate that was
yeah.
programmed to do that, and that's just ridiculous.
Only because he said I don't remember doing it.
Yeah, I mean, anybody could say that.
No shit. But Oswald is just such an interesting character. I mean, everything about the guy's life is interesting.
Yeah, and his mother did a number on him.
Exactly.
And you really don't know much about his father.
Yeah, do you think that guy took off? Then she had that boyfriend that he really looked up to, a guy from
Yeah.
Boston. and then they
Yeah.
broke up. I don't think men could handle her. She was fucking crazy.
Well, after the Kennedy assassination, she was trying to make so much money out there. She was out there selling
Right away.
pictures of Lee. Yeah, she was selling autographed pictures of, of Lee and
R-
trying to make a dollar off of it.
right
And
away.
I don't, huh?
Right away.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her for hiring Mark Lane to, you know, try to critique the Warren Commission and basically try to defend him. But
She did?
yeah, she was the one that got Mark Lane involved. There was another guy I would like to read one of his books, one of the first ones. I think his name's Harry Weisberg. He was one of the first researchers of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very early stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, do you know when they were lowering his casket, Lee's casket, that the reporters
Couldn't
had
even
to be
find
the
pallbearers.
pallbearers?
Yeah. Yep. They couldn't even find pallbearers for him,
They
which,
couldn't even they initially couldn't even find a damn cemetery that would take them.
and, that's, no matter who you are, everybody deserves a proper burial.
Yeah, I mean,
And, basically, I mean, if you want to go to it, they really violated every one of his constitutional rights. I mean, they paraded him around.
oh, I I agree 100%. First of all, the media should not have been in that police station like that.
It was a tsunami. I mean, they should have kept the media completely away.
I don't think we realize how packed that police station was.
I'm just a patsy.
They had like cables and camera cables and everything running up through the windows and everything at that place.
And remember when they was leading him into one of the interrogation rooms? Who was standing right beside him?
Oh, I know. It's incredible. It's
Did you ever
incredible.
look at that? Did you ever look at that clip that I sent you about during the appeal hearing when Jack Ruby was trying to talk and his lawyers was telling him to shut up?
Yeah.
And they kept saying, "Well, we want to ask him this question." The lawyers, "No, no, you're not asking him anything. Shut up, Jack. Be quiet." And Jack's like, "No,
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I'm talking."
He's another weird guy. Sometimes he would talk and just make absolutely no sense. He would try to use big words that he didn't know the meaning of and stuff.
Well, I heard this thing. I read this thing one time from one of the detectives that when he went in and they had Jack in his cell, and they said Jack was just sweating profusely, and he asked for a cigarette, and they gave Jack Ruby a cigarette, and he smoked the cigarette, and then the guy came back out and said, "Well, Jack, looks like you're going to get the chair. Oswald just died." And they said then Ruby just became real calm, stopped sweating, and the guy asked Ruby, said, "Do you want another cigarette?" And Jack said, "No, I don't smoke."
I heard that too. I don't know if I heard that from you or what. I heard that.
Yeah, and this was a detective that was in the room with him.
Just his statements right after they grabbed him. It's me, Jack Ruby. You all know me.
You know me, I'm Jack Ruby.
The fuck?
I like in JFK when Costner goes and he was led into Dallas by some of the underground henchmen of the Dallas police.
Yeah. That's a movie I can watch any day, anytime, any day of the week.
Oh, I can too.
Yeah.
And you remember what Garrison said about um, Dave Ferry, that he was one of history's most interesting characters?
Yeah. He was.
And there was one thing that people say it's not true. That um, meeting at the Fontainebleau Hotel actually took place, where he told Lou Ivan, he said, "I'm a dead man."
What, he met Lou Ivan at the hotel?
When the story broke, he wanted to meet Lou Ivan, so Lou Ivan met him at the Fontainebleau Hotel, and they was trying to get Jack. They was trying to get Ferry to go on the record, and Ruby told him, and excuse me, Ferry told him. He said, "You don't understand. From here on out, I'm a dead man."
Yeah. I remember that in the movie, yeah.
And another guy who I thought was a very interesting cat was Dean Andrews. I go back and forth on, was Dean Andrews telling the truth? Um, because I mean, his name got in the Warren Commission.
Yeah, I didn't. He's more interesting than Ferry, I think.
Because I mean, his first description of Clay Shaw fit him to a T, and then he changed his description of him.
See, every time I try to tack in that New Orleans shit, I just feel like I don't know.
Well, see, here's the thing that I point out to people about Shaw being involved in the conspiracy. Okay, if Oswald killed Kennedy, or let's say he didn't, and the plan was to silence Oswald, why would Clay Shaw call to try to get him a lawyer to represent him?
Exactly.
All right.
It's a great
Now,
point.
I do believe, huh?
That's a great point.
All right. Now, I do believe that Clay Shaw probably made that call because, like I said, I think Oswald was one of his boys. I think he called to try to get him legal representation. I don't think Clay Shaw had any idea he was going to be killed. I
So
don't think there's any doubt.
you think Oswald was homosexual?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah. From the things that I've read about him and Marina's sex life, how he was inadequate, and I think sometimes couldn't perform. And then, I mean, there was a lot of people that put him
He
with
performed
Clay
enough to have
Shaw.
two kids.
I mean, there's been a lot of gay men that's fathered children,
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he performed enough.
but I believe that Oswald was one of Shaw's boys.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I mean, I've heard this many times. I'm just trying to figure out what's making you subscribe to that so thoroughly that he was homosexual or bisexual.
Well, for him being around them so much,
Because
I
in
mean,
the Marines, they thought he was gay.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people thought Oswald was gay. And I mean, like I said, I think he was one of Shaw's boys. And, you know,
Well, we know for a fact Shaw had boys,
yeah,
quote unquote.
yeah, yeah. Shaw had boys. I mean, Shaw had money, and Shaw paid for them. And
Yeah.
I do believe that Shaw used the alias Bertrand, just because at that time, you know. Now, I don't think he used. I don't think he used the alias Bertrand in New Orleans because everybody knew who he was. He was,
Like
but I
Shaw,
believe when he went out of, yeah, but I believe when he went out of town, in order to protect his identity and
an
protect his
alien.
position in the
Yeah,
community, he used the alias Clay Bertrand.
makes sense.
And another thing, why uh, Clay Shaw did work for the CIA as a domestic contract agent, which was not uncommon. There was a lot of people who did that,
I was just gonna say that.
to run things.
Not
Yeah.
uncommon.
But what would Clay Shaw's motive be to have Kennedy killed?
That's where I get lost.
Yeah. I mean, what would he? I mean, even if he was a CIA agent, what was his motive? I mean, he was director of the International Trade Mart. What would benefit him by having Kennedy killed?
I don't. That's where I just lose it. I lose the beat there.
Now, Ferry, I can go along with more because Ferry was involved in so much stuff, and Ferry was within a week of being indicted when he died. And then when he died, Garrison's case was about to fall apart. So then Garrison went out and arrested Clay Shaw.
Yeah, and that other guy, that bullshit guy that he had in the stand.
You talk about Perry Raymond Russo?
Yeah,
Yeah. they use that truth serum on him
Yeah,
and basically put the words in his mouth.
yeah.
And set everything up. Um,
He was known to do that shit.
yeah, and I'm not saying that Clay Shaw might not even been present when Ferry was drunk talking about killing Kennedy. I still don't see how that
I
ties
don't
him
see it either.
into,
Don't see it either.
yeah. Um, I just,
It
I
took me
just
a
don't.
while to get off of that though, because it was that movie that got me into the conspiracy stuff to begin with, and so
Well, after I
obviously,
started,
huh?
yeah, I was already into it, but that got me into it more. Then I started researching the trial board. I started looking and
Yeah.
looking. I was like, well, there's
I
really
mean,
nothing on this
at
guy.
first, Garrison was my man at first, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh. And then I was like, well, they really don't have anything on him.
No. Garrison, once I started hearing that, like, not even the conspiracy guys dig him, I was like, what?
Well, there's still a lot of Garrisonites out there.
I know. But when it comes down to the real the real soldiers for the conspiracy against, JFK conspiracy guys, they're not down with Garrison.
No, no. Well, at the time and there was a rumor that I've heard that Garrison was a homosexual, and that Garrison and Shaw was after the same boy, and that's why Garrison went after Shaw. And a lot of people don't know this right here. When the Clay Shaw trial was going on, Garrison was being investigated by a grand jury for making advances at a teenage boy, underage boy, at the New Orleans Athletic Club.
Well, Garrison was definitely all about the gay thing, that's for sure.
Well, at one time he referred to it as a homosexual thrill killing.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, he went nuts with the gay thing. I,
Um,
I don't know. I never bought into it. I don't know. I guess I could subscribe to Oswald being gay though.
yeah, yeah, I definitely could go along with that.
I mean, he was being accused of that before, you know, before this murder was even thought of.
He was.
Yeah, and boot camp, he was his fellow boot camp mates in the Marines thought it. They called him Mrs. Oswald.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was so into the Russian thing, they called him Oswaldovich too.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck defects to Russia in 1959?
Well, here's a problem I have with that right there. Oswald defected to Russia with a $1,500 plane ticket with $254 in his bank account. Who paid for that? Then he defects and comes back, and the government loans him the money to fly back.
Yeah. I remember his brother told that story when he came back and he picked him up at the airport. He said, "Where's all the newspaper people?" Like he thought he was going to be some celebrity coming back. Request again, Chris. I already sent you one. It's not letting me add you, bro. Here, just answer this question, Chris. Do you want me to just start a new one and call it part two? Hold on.
So
Yeah,
that's why I say, so, so then Oswald Specs, he marries the daughter of a colonel of a KGB agent.
yeah.
So he was an agent on a mission and remained one to the day he died.
And the agent for what? KGB?
No, for our government. I mean, when he came back, he was never even debriefed by the CIA.
I know. I know he wasn't. That's all a lot of shit. That's we didn't even do that part of it.
Yeah,
Maybe we could do that at the end or something.
yeah,
There's
yeah. Because I mean,
definitely a
we still
lot.
got the.
There's definitely a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many loose ends that it's like, you
I
know.
don't deny that.
I mean, I think there's a lot more unanswered questions than there are answers.
I don't know if I would say that there's a lot more, but I think there's definitely more unanswered questions.
I mean, the whole Mexico City trip.
But no, another thing, exactly. People don't even know about that.
Yeah, and
That
the
was like
picture out
that
there,
was like a month before the murder.
right? And the picture of the Oswald out there wasn't even him.
Not even close. That was a blunder on the American consulate over there. That was pathetic. The American
And
CIA.
another keg in this thing was James Hosty. I think there's a lot more that he has to answer.
He he fucked up royally.
Yeah,
Royally.
I mean, and maybe what about the assassination attempt that was supposed to be on Kennedy's life in Chicago that was warned about by Ali? I mean,
That too. But that's still speculation. When it comes to Hosty, dude, these are facts. He fucked up royally.
And then that telefax disappeared from every FBI office in America.
Which one?
The one about Lee warning about the assassination.
Yep. In the one where you threatened to blow up the threatened to blow up something.
Yeah.
He left a letter at the FBI office for James Hosty saying, You're fucking with my wife. Leave my wife alone, or I will blow up your fucking building."
And then they told Hosty to destroy it.
Yep. Now I think Hosty still till this day says that it never really his whole all his interviews are shady as fuck.
Yeah, he's hiding something. I don't know what it is, but there's something he's not telling the truth on.
I don't know if he's just trying to save face for the FBI or what it is, but I mean, you had a beat on the guy who killed the president. You had a beat on him. You went and talked to his wife multiple times.
And why was the FBI not protecting him that day?
Protecting who?
Oswald.
What
I mean,
protecting?
yeah. I mean, he was handcuffed between two people. Why did he not have three people standing in front of him and three people standing in the back? You already had a threat on his life. They said they was going to kill him when they was moving him.
Multiple. Well, you know the reason what they say is because of the media wanted to get a shot of Oswald coming out.
Well, and like I said, that was violating his rights.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, fuck the media. Fuck that shit.
I'm just a patsy. No, sir, I didn't shoot anybody.
First time I heard about it is when the newspaper reporter in the hall asked me that question.
They've taken me in because I lived in the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Naturally, if I work in that building,
Yeah, naturally, if I work at that building. Me and my friend was talking about it the other night, and he's a big JFK thing too, and we was going through it about, and his one of his major problems is how the lineups were conducted.
what are you supposed to do? Take everybody in the lineup and punch them in the eye and give them all a black eye?
Well, no, but you should not have, Oswald with four teenage Latino boys. You should not have him with two guys dressed in suits that he's handcuffed between. They should have been dressed similar. They should have
I
been,
agree. I agree. I agree.
but the Warren Commission said they was conducted fairly.
No. No.
I mean, you've got a guy with a busted up eye, and a T-shirt, and two detectives in suits that he's handcuffed between. It's some short, stocky guy. I mean, well, who are you going to pick out? I think it was William Whaley that said he had no choice but to pick Oswald out.
I mean, I would. That's what I say. You got no choice. It's obvious.
And then, like Oswald, when he was complaining, I don't know if you ever seen the clip with him and the teenagers, and he said, "You're taking me in with a lineup with these men."
You wanted a
So
shirt.
yeah, he said, "You're taking me in a lineup with these men, so I'll be picked out, right?" And that guy goes, "That's right."
You can see Oswald's like hand gesturing, like,
Yeah. Oh, and he was pissed, man. Yeah, he was gesturing. So you're taking me in a lineup with these men, knowing I'd be picked out.
I would, like I said, man, I would love to hear more from Fritz. He didn't say much.
Oh, Fritz didn't say much.
You know, when Hosty came into the office, Oswald flipped out on him.
Yeah. I like what you told me about Buell when Buell said, "It's just me and you in here right now."
Yeah, you didn't know that?
What do you think? It's just me and you in here right now, and by
Yeah,
the time they get it,
yeah, and I know you got some officers out there, but it's going to take some time for them to get in here, and I'll get my licks in before they get in here. And the poor guy was being paraded around. I mean,
and Buell believes Oswald's innocent.
yeah, Buell still to this day. I don't know. Is Buell dead yet?
No, Buell's still alive, as far as I know. I seen a interview with him not too long ago. Buell's a really nice man.
But I like the way he cuts it out, though. Like, he doesn't say, he says, I had no reason to not trust him. I had no reason to
Yeah, Lee was
question
always very nice
the
to me.
bag and stuff like that. He said it was just a normal day driving him to work. I had no reason to suspect, all this shit. He says all that.
I like that though. It's just me and you in here, and I know you got some cops out there, but it's gonna take some time for them to get in here.
And I'll get my licks in.
I bet you didn't want to mess with that Texan.
Oh, hell no. You young too at that point.
Yeah, I bet Buell would have been tough to take. Speaking of Texan, I remember that when it was after that 2004 race with Kerry and Bush, and Bush was giving at a rally, and he goes, some people say I have a swagger. Well, in Texas, we just call that walking.
Yeah, they got their own thing going on.
Don't mess with Texas.
They got their own thing going on for sure. I just watched a documentary on that shooting from the clock tower at the college.
Yeah,
You ever look into that?
never have.
You know about it though, right?
hmm I just remember the first time in Full Metal Jacket when they when they was talking about it. You know that they had Stanley, whatever his name,
Hubert.
Cubic, yeah, he had hired Arlie Ermy to be like a coach to the drill sergeant, and he watched Arlie Ermy do it, and then he was like, "No, you've got to do this." And that whole scene when he was in there with him, it was all ad libbed. He had no
It's
lines.
incredible. It's
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, he was a drill sergeant. It was all ad lib. He had no lines. He
which
went in there
scene?
and
Which
just
scene are you
freelance.
talking about?
I'm talking about when they first brought him in there, and they had them all lined up, and he was like, where are you from? Texas. One thing from Texas, steers and queers.
Yeah.
What are
Oh,
you?
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. And uh, um, he was like,
Wipe that
I didn't
smile
know they
off your
stacked.
face.
I didn't know they stacked shit that high.
Yeah.
And what was that? He told that black guy that we don't serve fried chicken or watermelon or something in my mess hall.
Yeah. Wow, what a great scene.
Oh, it was. That was a great movie. Arlie Ermy
From
was hot.
now, you're a Marine. I forget how he says it. It's so good.
Arlie Ermy would. I bet that'd have been a tough dude to mess with in his day.
God, he played that drill instructor so good, didn't he?
Oh God, man.
Get the fuck off my obstacle, Gomer Pyle.
That's what they called me in basic training was Gomer Pyle.
God, it's a great, great movie. That guy loses his goddamn mind in that place.
Yes, he did.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
Blows his brains out. That's only the first half of the movie, too. The second half is all Nam. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene over there where they got shot, and at the end they was singing the Mickey Mouse song.
Yes, yeah. Remember that badass Marine that's over there, and he's like hanging out, and he's like, "Say hello to my friend," and he's got a dead Viet Cong
Yeah,
next to him. He's
yeah,
like, "This Charlie." He's taking a nap.
yeah. That was an awesome movie. Then I remember as God, I ain't seen it since I was a kid, but that movie Hamburger Hill.
Oh yeah, man. Come on, dude. Born on the 4th of July.
That was a great movie too.
They did those movies right, dude. Those were good. I gotta take Full Metal Jacket though. That's it. That's it for me.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket. Oh, we gotta go to the restroom. Full Metal Jacket was great, man. I mean, just the whole way it was portrayed. I mean, really showed what those guys was going through.
I love that scene when they say, "Do you know who Lee Harvey Oswald is?"
Yeah, he shot it from school book suppository.
Yeah, and they all laugh.
Yeah, they did. Um, God, man, that would just been awful. Awful to be there. You know, back during the American Civil War, they was still fighting with Napoleonic tactics, and the casualties were so high. They said the European nations were just shocked at the casualties that would take place in a single battle.
Right, I didn't know.
Well, think about it. At Gettysburg,
Oh, you
there was
mean you
50.
mean that the way they used to line up and like face each other?
Yeah, well, see, before they rifled the musket, a musket was only good for about 50 yards.
Yeah.
Artillery was only good for about 250 yards. Well, after it became rifled, they were still fighting with Napoleonic tactics. Well, then a rifle was good from about 500 yards, and artillery was good from a mile away. So you was walking
Wow,
just
that's
straight
that's
into.
that's crazy.
hmm And like Pickett's charge was just a frontal assault uphill over open ground from a mile away, just with a gorgeous field of fire.
Oh,
But Lee was
that takes
he,
balls, bro.
Lee said in the center they will break, and they broke, but they just didn't have enough people to have it. I mean,
No.
they suffered 50% casualties.
Uh Lee was a fucking brilliant tactician.
Man, look at the Battle of Chancellorsville. He was outnumbered 2-1. He divided his army into three. He divided his army once and then divided it a second time, and had his army split into three different groups, and had a flank attack. Did a 12-mile march. Did a flank attack, and just pile drived Hooker's left flank. And
Yeah. That was his thing with the flanks. He
mhm.
yeah.
But the thing at Gettysburg, he didn't flank.
No, I know.
You know what I really think happened is the first reports coming out of Gettysburg was of a major Confederate victory, and Lee was suffering from heart disease, and I think that Lee smelled victory, and he tried to land the knockout blow then,
Very possible.
because they said right after Chancellorsville, Lee suffered a massive heart attack,
It was it that
and
the way he did Gettysburg though was uncharacteristic of him.
it was totally uncharacteristic because Lee always used speed, mobility,
Yep.
and
Flanks.
and then yeah, flanks, and he would get around the army, and then and I just think he thought his army was invincible. He smelled victory, and they said, I've read that the night before the day of Pickett's charge, that Lee had a light heart attack that night. Because you got to think about it. I mean, he was 50.
8.
He was at Gettysburg. He was 56. Well, the
Oh.
average lifespan for a man then was 60.
Yeah.
Well, Lee was suffering from heart disease. He was sleeping 3 hours a night. He had the
Shit.
entire weight. he had the entire weight of the Confederacy on his shoulders. Just the amount of stress that he undertook. I can't believe the man survived that long.
No. Stonewall Jackson's grave, man. I can walk to it. It's right up the street from my house.
Well, how he got killed was, the Battle of Chancellorsville when he pile drove the flank. It was late in the day, and he had him on the run, so he went out and was reconnaissance of the line and was
When
going to
you
try
say
to
when you say
force him.
pile drive the flank, what exactly does that mean?
Uh, Usually, when you have a flank, you anchor your flank like against a river or against a mountain.
Yes.
Well, their flank was nothing. Their flank was in the air, so there was nothing that was protecting the flank.
Right.
So when they marched, so he marched his corps around, and he took his whole corps and attacked the flank, and he just pile drive that flank and rolled up the whole army, and just sent them on the run, and they was just retreating. They was in mass confusion, but daylight. They was running out of daylight, so
Yeah. That
Jackson
is.
was wanting to continue, Jackson was wanting to continue to press the attack, so he went out and reconnaissance the lines to figure out if he could go ahead and launch a night attack. He was coming back to the line. People mistaking him for
Oh
Union soldiers
man.
and shot him. Yeah, he was shot by friendly. He was killed by friendly fire.
Shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
it's
out doing
literally
it.
right up the street. Yeah, it's
I mean, he was awesome, man. I mean, he was probably the great. I mean, they called
it's a
his corps
badass
the.
nickname. Stonewall.
You know how he got it, don't you?
I used to know. What
It
was
was
it?
at the first. It was the first battle of the Bull Run, and he commanded. He had a brigade, and the Union Army was making some advances, and Jackson's army wouldn't retreat, or Jackson's brigade wouldn't retreat. And one of the people said, "Look at Jackson there, standing like a stone wall."
Oh,
And that brigade became what they call shock troops, and shock troops was the ones that they sent in to, like, when they launched an attack, those was the premier troops that went in to lead the attack. The Stonewall Brigade was shock troops, and then Hood's Texans were shock troops.
dude, you know your Civil War, dude, huh? Damn.
Yeah, I'm a huge Civil War buff. I can go through every battle, you know, generals.
I mean, you know from both sides. You know the Union side just as well.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're studying a battle, I study both the Union generals, the Confederate generals. I mean,
They had their own
and when you're
badasses.
studying, not really. They only had a couple of really good generals: Grant,
Grant.
Sherman, and Sheridan. But the stuff that Grant and Sherman and Sheridan did to the South, and today they would be prosecuted for war crimes.
Well, I see. What did they do?
It was basically just total warfare. They came in there, burned every house, burned every um, livestock. I mean,
Right.
it would have been it would have been war crimes today.
A nasty ass war, dude. That's a nasty war.
The Confederacy only had, I mean, the Confederacy had to win, had to land a knockout blow early in order for them to win.
Yeah, take out a good chunk of meat.
And seeing if they would have listened to Lee early on, Lee went to the Confederate Congress and begged them to free the slaves, and he said that would give them 4 million men that he could put up under arms.
Why didn't they
And
do that?
because the wealthy aristocrat wanted to hold on to slavery, and Lee's argument was, okay, do you want to keep slaves or do you want to be an independent country? You've got to pick your
Yeah, yeah.
whichever you want. And Lee begged them to give me slaves. If you'll free the slaves and let them fight and give them their freedom after the war, I can win this war if you give me, I mean, that'll be 4 million men, and I can win this war. And they refused to do it. And they finally okayed it in February of
Too late.
1865, but it was too late. But there's a black Confederate um,
Just battalion or whatever, right?
there's a black Confederate reenactment group out of Mississippi because there was actually 60,000 blacks that was armed that was fought for the Confederacy. And there's a great YouTube video out there of a black soldier that was killed, and they buried him in a Confederate cemetery with full Confederate honors, with them playing Dixie and dressed in, the old their uniforms.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the lost? Have you ever heard of the Lost Confederates?
No, but isn't there a movie on these black dudes?
I think there. Well, now there was a movie called Glory about the
Yeah.
blacks that fought North, but they don't talk about the blacks that actually fought for the South.
Oh, okay, that's where I'm getting confused. All right. Yeah.
There were 60,000 blacks that were armed for the
Ah,
South towards the end of the war, but it was too little, too late. Like I
yeah.
said, they did one that was killed, and they did full Confederate honors, buried him in a Confederate cemetery. Um, you know, if
That's cool.
and
That's cool.
Long Longstreet had made the statement that one time he said we should have freed the slaves and then fired on Fort Sumter, because that would have brought England and France into the war.
Right. Have you ever been to Gettysburg?
No, I really want to go. I mean, let's face it too. But I was trying to argue this about the other day. Let's just say the South won the war. Okay, all right. Slavery wouldn't have lasted another 10, 15 years. I mean,
Oh,
we wouldn't have slaves today. We wouldn't have slaves past.
oh,
I mean, slavery would have been over by the
oh.
1880s. I
No.
mean,
Like you said, there was the aristocrats. There was the those rich guys that would.
well, they called it a rich man's war and a poor man's fight. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that 90% of the Confederate soldiers
Dude, they didn't even have
didn't own,
shoes. Some of them.
they didn't own slaves. And I don't know if I ever told you this. One of the best stories was it was at the Battle of Shiloh, and there was a Billy Yank and Johnny Reb, and they was separated from their unit, and they was tired, and they was sharing a canteen of water. And Billy Yank asked Johnny Reb, he goes, "How many slaves do you own?" And he looked at him, he said, "I don't own any slaves." And he said, "Well, why are you fighting?" He said, "I'm fighting because you're down here."
Oh shit.
But hell, the South was invaded.
Yeah. So what sparked it off?
Uh, like the what the initial
Them just
attack.
not wanting to be a part of the Union, right?
Well, they thought that Lincoln was going to free the slaves. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is the South had 20% of the population, but they had 80% of the tax burden. So the
Oh,
South was paying most of the taxes, and a lot of the South was pissed about that. So
rightfully so.
taxes had as much to do with it as had a lot to do with it as well as slavery did, because slavery did not become an issue until 1862 when Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation.
Proclamation.
And here's another tidbit. People say Lincoln freed the slaves. Well, the Emancipation Proclamation said all states still in rebellion as of January 1st, 1863, their slaves are free. It did not cover the border states or the areas that was already under occupation. So, in essence, the Emancipation Proclamation did not free one slave. The 13th Amendment did.
Wow, I never even thought of that.
Yeah, because the states that were still in rebellion that hadn't been conquered yet, they weren't going to give their slaves up. The border states didn't have to give their slaves up, and the states in the areas that was occupied didn't have to give their slaves up. It was only the states that were still in rebellion. So the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free a slave. It was the 13th Amendment.
Wow, dude, that's cool shit. I didn't. That's good that you know a lot about it, that shit, because that's some shit we can always talk about on the podcast. That dude, you're educating me on that shit.
Yeah, Lincoln did that just to keep the um, England and France out of the war, because the Confederates were meeting with representatives from England trying to get them to come in. Um, Lincoln sent one of the battleships out there, arrested the diplomats. The King of England sent 10,000 troops into Canada and was threatening to invade Canada or the U.S. from the north. And then Lincoln freed the diplomats and said, "One war at a time."
Wow. Was Lincoln kind of an asshole?
Uh, I don't think so. There's a lot of rumors that Lincoln was gay.
Really?
Yeah, Lincoln had back in those days, which wasn't uncommon, but whenever like somebody would go to a hotel, it was cheaper for people to share a bed, so
Yeah,
Lincoln would get a
yeah.
bed. All right. Well, Lincoln spent most of his time at this house. I forgot what this guy's name was, but he spent most of his time away from the White House to get telegrams from the war. Well, he had this aide that never left his side and was with him all the time, and they claimed that that was Lincoln's lover.
Yeah.
Now, we did have a gay president, James Buchanan.
Oh, not openly gay.
Well, no, you couldn't have been openly gay at that time, but it was
Yeah,
common knowledge
exactly.
because him and William Rufus King were lovers. And William Rufus King was the vice president before him, and he was from Alabama. And John C. Calhoun used to call uh, William Rufus King Buchanan's wife, and they called Buchanan and William Rufus King Aunt Nancy and Miss Fancy.
Wow, man. I'm good. I'm glad.
James Buchanan never got married. He was engaged, and his fiancee committed suicide. And the rumor is why she committed suicide was because James Buchanan had a lover, a male lover, and she found out about it and killed herself.
Makes sense. Didn't you say that shit about Hitler too?
There's rumors that Hitler was gay. I don't really know if that's true or not. But when Hitler was in World War One, a lot of people thought he was gay. He never married till the last day of his life.
Well,
But I read that Lincoln had all, or not Lincoln, but Hitler had all these weird sexual things, like he
yeah.
liked to be shit on, he liked to be pissed on, and stuff like that.
Wow. I mean, the Greeks were down with it. The Romans were down with it.
Yeah, and they was also with young boys too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like commonplace.
Yeah, and I was reading this thing is like they would have sex with these young boys, and that's how they brought them into manhood.
Yeah, the Greeks. Or yeah,
Yeah.
that was like commonplace, dude.
hmm I mean, there's a lot of a lot of historical things. I mean, like in the Civil War. I mean, it's called the first modern war because that's the first time a submarine sunk an enemy ship. Um, what was it? I think landmines were put into place. They had balloons that used
You're
observation.
talking about World One.
Um,
One.
Civil War was
Oh,
referred to as the
civil.
first modern war.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had first submarine sink an enemy ship. Um, there was actually the Confederacy had Secret Service that was operating out of Canada, that was working with agents from France and Britain.
What was the year spans for the war? What was it?
The war started on April 12th, 1861, and Lee surrendered on April 9th, 1865. They consider that the end of the war, but the Confederacy still had a lot of troops in the field. When um, Joseph Johnston still had about 20 something thousand troops. When Jefferson Davis and the Confederate government started retreating southward, Jefferson Davis ordered Johnston to get as many men on horses as he could and to fall back to Georgia. The Confederacy still had 100,000 men in the field.
Dude.
The, the Trans Alabama Mississippi Department had like nearly 100,000 men spread through Mississippi and Alabama. If they would have combined those people, they could have put another army in the field.
God damn, I can't believe there's so much about this shit I don't know.
So much a lot of people don't know, man.
Well, dude, you know a lot about the Civil War, bro. See, it's not like you're like your average fucking student on that stuff. You know it's up. I don't know any. It's sad to say that I don't know that much about it.
Yeah, and one thing, I've never really studied the American Revolution that much because I've always been fascinated with the Confederacy. There was a great Robert Frost poem too
He was the man.
yeah, he wrote this poem about Gettysburg, and he said, every July 3rd at 2 o'clock, every 14-year-old Southern boy looks up and says, maybe this time we'll break that line, maybe today.
Yeah, deep,
I just hate that the Confederate battle flag has been hijacked by such hate
bad,
groups.
real bad, dude.
I mean, it was hijacked, man, by so many hate groups. It's just
Oh,
awful. I mean,
yeah, man, totally.
because I'm gonna
Like
tell you
even
that was a
the
that's
swastika sign was like a sign of peace, like a Hindu sign of
man, it was hijacked by them.
yeah.
And I mean, and still don't take this wrong, but those were cool looking flags, man.
I give it. I think it's the coolest flag.
The stars and bars was one of the coolest flags I've ever seen,
I
man.
agree. I think it's a sick flag.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the
I
British
mean,
flag too.
I like the British flag too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the stars and bars was a prettier flag than art than the U.S.
Yeah,
flag. You know what else I think is ironic too? And think about this right here. So, the South lost the war, and and there's so much animosity, but now the South is the most patriotic region that sends the most people into the military. And I just find that so ironic.
they send the most people into the military.
Yeah,
I
the
wonder why
South
that
is the
is.
most, huh?
I wonder
I don't
why.
know. I mean, you think they because we're not that far removed from the Civil War when you think about it.
No, I
But
know.
yet the South, but yet the South is the most patriotic region by far. Um, More Southern boys join the military than any other region.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that
I
is
find it so,
true.
so ironic that this is the most patriotic region.
I mean, yeah, it is definitely the most patriotic for sure. Got to give it
Yeah.
to you guys.
Oh yeah, we're a very martial, you know,
Like to fight.
area. We love to fight.
The
And
Brit.
you know what Alabama state motto is, don't you?
Uh,
We dare defend our rights.
I like New Hampshire's. Don't tread on me.
I like that one too. Don't tread on me. But I love ours. Don't defend our right or don't. We dare defend our rights.
The Brits love a good fight too, man.
Yeah, the Brits have always been a very warring nation, but then they became such. It's real weird because the Brits like to fight, and then the French had so many wars, and then they became such a pacifist nation.
I know. They just the Germans just basically practiced air raids on them.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember when we was going to war with the first Gulf War. It was so funny. This guy was going, "Yeah, we got 4,000 French soldiers that have our back, way back."
Yeah, my brother was in that war.
And then there's another one too. I heard it said, "For sale, one French rifle, never been fired, only dropped once."
What's up with the French? Why do they have the rat like that?
Because how Germany just kicked their ass within
Beat the shit
three
out of
months. Yeah, I mean it was over just in a matter of months. And then
Napoleon
the
was
French,
French, wasn't he?
and then after what happened to the French in Vietnam, and then we took over for them,
Yeah.
and the French was like, "All right, that's it."
Yeah,
But
they
you know what
bailed
else?
out.
Uh, if we go to war, Britain goes to war. But when the Falkland Islands War took place, we didn't help them at all.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe because we have did so much shit to Latin America.
Yeah, probably. The whole fucking world is a warring fuck. We're all humans are all about war.
What was that in that line in JFK? The motivating factor for any society is war.
Oh, in the movie
Yeah,
when is that when Mr. X is talking?
yeah. He was based off F. Fletcher Prouty.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts of the movie.
I thought so too.
I love how he runs through it.
I mean, he made a great. You remember when he said, and Johnson goes, "Just get me elected. I'll give you damn war."
War, yeah. But you know when
And then
Johnson came off the plane and he had right after right after when they got back from Dallas and he had to do that speech. I ask for you and God's help, but I'll do my best. It's all I can do. I felt bad. I feel bad for him right there, man.
God just had the whole weight of the world put on his shoulders. I mean,
Man,
well, the one that was grooming who they wanted to be president was Joe Kennedy, Joseph.
yeah,
And and basically he performed a suicide mission.
yeah.
He was doing a bombing campaign, I think, over Germany, and just had enough fuel to get there. And he was supposed to crash land his plane, and it crashed. They never recovered his remains.
Over the ocean, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was over the ocean or if it was actually in Europe when it happened, but I know something happened. It may have been over the ocean. The plane exploded or something.
It might not have. I thought that's what it was though. But yeah, that's fucking crazy. But yeah, can you imagine Johnson the burden that he got for that from all that. And
I mean,
JFK,
he didn't get as much credit. I mean, because you look at the stuff that Johnson had to preside over during his presidency. I mean, you had the civil rights stuff going on.
yeah,
You had the Vietnam
yeah, I
War. I
know.
mean,
You're right. You're right. I mean,
and
dude,
they said,
JFK used to punk him around too, bad.
oh yeah, they hated each other.
I know. That's why some of the conspiracy people blame LBJ, but
Yeah, because there was something I read one time about Johnson the night before the assassination. He was with his mistress, and they said something about how the Kennedys made fun of him, but after tomorrow they'll never make fun of him again.
yeah, I'm all set with that theory. Does nothing for me.
I mean, to have a vice president order the killing of the president. I
No,
mean,
no. That guy was scared to death when at Parkland Hospital. He
what
was,
was that Dr. Wex said about the limo? It was a crime scene, Mr. Bugliosi.
yeah. They did clean it up.
Yeah, I cleaned it up, replaced the windshield.
Threw the bubble top on it.
Yep, rebuilt the holes. He sent John Connolly's bloody suit straight to the cleaners.
Not JFK's though.
No.
It's weird
What was
when you look at his suit, the evidence pictures of it. It looks just like some rags, but in all actuality, JFK dressed like a stud, man. Those are like some fine fucking clothes.
Yeah, back then those were very fine clothes.
Yeah,
I mean, JFK was the man.
he was the man, dude. He was the man.
I mean, he pulled some hot ass.
Sure did.
Just look who he's married to. One of the interesting things that
She's gorgeous.
oh, she was beautiful in that 1960 debate between him and um, Nixon. Nixon spent the whole day campaigning, didn't shave,
Yeah.
and didn't wear makeup. And they said Kennedy had sex that afternoon, took a nap, relaxed, and he wore makeup, and that was the first televised debates.
Dude.
And perception is everything. The people who watched the debates said Kennedy won. The people who listened to the debates said
Yeah,
Johnson
yeah.
won.
Dude, if you watch him, man, he owns it.
Um, because it was kind of like me, like the first time when I listened, when Obama and McCain debated the first time, I was on the computer, and I was playing on the computer, and I just listened to the debate. And when the debate was over with, I was like, God, McCain just hammered him. And then all the polls came out, and they said Obama won. And
Charisma.
again, charisma and perception. But I thought McCain won the debate. But Obama just had so much more charisma, and
Yeah, Obama
look,
definitely got the he's very charismatic.
oh, very charismatic man.
Well spoken.
Well spoken, nice looking man. I mean,
Sleek,
you know,
like very,
yeah,
young,
very slick.
nimble.
Yeah, energetic. McCain would just came along at the wrong time. McCain, if he'd have ran at any other time, he would have been
Yeah.
president. Kind of like Bob Dole. I mean, if Bob Dole hadn't been going against Clinton, Bob Dole would have been president.
Dude, didn't you tell me that you think that John Benet Ramsey mom killed her?
Um,
I mean,
you know,
you don't think somebody broke in that house, do you?
the only person that I think could have got in that house and got her downstairs and did it was Bill McReynolds. Bill McReynolds did the family
Yeah.
Santa Claus
Yeah.
every year. And he told her that Santa was going to pay her a special visit the night after Christmas. And his wife had wrote a play in the 70s about a childhood beauty queen who
Yeah.
was
I know.
murdered and murdered with a garrote around her neck. That's the only thing that throws up a red flag to me that I thought he should have been looked at more.
A
Now I have
three page ransom note though.
well, it was rewritten three different times. The garrote that was tied around her neck was from Patsy Ramsey's um, um, paintbrush. The stationery that the ransom note was written on was from her stationery. It was written in block letters.
Oh shit. It is goof. Yeah.
It was written in block letters. Um, they asked for now. You got to understand. John Ramsey was a multimillionaire. They asked for $180,000, which was his Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
Um, and they took the time, like I said, to make three different ransom notes. Um, and then there was a line in that ransom note that said, "John, use your good Southern sense." And he was from Georgia. Now, if you break into a house and you murder a kid, why are you going to take time to write out a ransom note? Does that make any sense?
No. And didn't she sleep in the same room as her brother?
Um, no, I think they had different bedrooms, but I think, I think the way it was, her bedroom was on the third floor, his was on the second, and theirs was on the first, going upstairs. So somebody would have had to got her past
No
everybody
way.
without waking him up, then murder her, then take the time to write a ransom note,
No
and then
way.
when they called the police that day, and Patsy Ramsey showed up, she answered the door. She had makeup on, dressed, clothes. Um, they searched the house, couldn't find the body. Then all of a sudden, John Ramsey goes down there and finds the body hidden behind a washing machine. Grabs the body, wraps it in a blanket, totally contaminated the crime scene.
Oh my God.
So he couldn't find her during the initial search, but all of a sudden he walks downstairs. The lights are off
So
from.
the police came to the house because they reported a missing person?
Yes.
Okay.
John Ramsey had
They
already
killed that
searched.
girl, man. Or
I think John Ramsey didn't do it. I think John Ramsey helped cover it up. Because when John Ramsey found the body, he had already searched the house. Then he goes downstairs into the basement where the washroom's at. Lights are off, and all of a sudden he goes over there and finds the body hidden behind a washing machine, wraps it up in a blanket, takes it upstairs, totally contaminates the scene. And they tried to say they was exonerated because there was some touched DNA found in her panties. Well, that could be from somebody packaging the panties.
yeah.
Um, one doctor tried to say that she was sexually
Yeah,
assaulted. Another doctor
I was
said
just
she
gonna ask you
wasn't.
that. Was she raped?
One doctor says she was. One doctor says she wasn't.
The fuck.
You can go YouTube Patsy Ramsey's interview with the police,
I've seen her
and
interviews. They're terrible.
she's lying through her fucking teeth.
It's unbelievable. Clearly.
Um,
Now, what would be the motive?
well, they said that she had a bedwetting problem
Yeah,
and that maybe Patsy flew into a rage and
bashed her on the head.
bashed her on the head. I mean, I don't think she intentionally killed her. To be honest with you, I think it was something that just went wrong, and then they tried to cover it up, and then the family immediately moved to Boulder, and the grand jury actually voted to indict, but the prosecutor refused to prosecute the case because he didn't think he could get a conviction.
Yeah, she's lying through her teeth in those interviews.
Yeah, there's no doubt about my mind she's lying.
And the husband does seem like he knows what's up.
Yeah, and if I don't know if you ever remember, but the 911 call, you can hear Burke in the background
Is that the
saying,
husband?
no, Burke was the brother.
Oh, what was
And
he?
you couldn't make out what he was saying, but the Ramsey said he was asleep the whole time.
Oh, so there's a lie.
There's a lie right there. And then another thing too, the Ramseys refused to be interrogated separately. And any type of
Yeah,
investigation like that, the first thing you do is you get the husband and the wife separate and start investigating. The Boulder police was not equipped to handle that. And
obviously not.
and the Denver Police Department offered to send in detectives to do it, and the Boulder police refused their help.
Why did they? Why were they? Why was it okay for them to when they said we don't want to get interviewed separately? Why were they okay with that?
I just believe because they were so inept and they're just not used to handling something like that.
That's unbelievable, man. That's unbelievable.
It was. God, that was in 1996, man.
That's just as bizarre as OJ, if not more bizarre.
I don't think that's bizarre. I just think the guy's guilty as hell.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think there was, I don't think there was anything pointing away from him being the murderer.
Well, no, I mean the bizarreness of him getting off with it on it.
Well, they turned it into such a race thing and put the L.A. Police Department on trial, and
Mark
you
Furman.
know. Well, the thing about that is they tried to make Furman out to be a racist. Well, they was playing those tapes. Well,
He
Furman
was
was
acting.
doing he was acting. Yes, he was playing a part for some kind of documentary,
Yeah.
and so Furman was doing that, showing how some of the police was racist. Furman was not. That was not Furman speaking for himself. That was Furman acting.
But they said that the way he said it was with such malice that it seemed like it was really in him that way. I don't know, some bullshit like that.
I mean, do you know how much evidence they would have had to have plant?
Oh, it's ridiculous. The blood, just the blood.
And they try to point out that there wasn't that much blood in the car. That's easy to explain. He took the clothes off, put them in a bag, changed into something else, and that's why there was hardly any blood in the Bronco.
Yeah, there was blood at his
And
apartment.
another thing too, when somebody's murdered like that in such a violent thing, it's usually by a spouse or a lover.
Yeah,
I mean, she was just such a brutal attack.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Did you ever see that Chris Rock thing on it?
Well, no, I don't. What was it? Just a
Oh,
comedy?
dude. Yeah, it was hilarious. He was going, he goes, look, he said, he's talking about OJ. He goes, look, here you are. He said, you got a woman. She's living in your house. You're paying her $25,000 a month in child support. She's driving around in your car, and somebody else is fucking your pussy. I ain't saying he killed her, but I understand.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got to thinking about that. I was like, that puts a whole new perspective on it.
It does. It does.
And and I don't take this the wrong way. I hope nobody does. But she liked pushing his buttons,
Big
and
time.
she, I mean, she kind of brought that on herself.
Dude, yeah, I know.
I mean,
She's
she
had
liked to make,
the cops have been out to that house many times.
yeah. I mean, and
She would never press charges.
and what a evil man to go in there and kill his wife while his children are upstairs
Oh
asleep.
God, it's terrible.
I mean, just it's awful.
It is.
But he got, he should went to prison for life, but he still served a lot of time.
Hold on one second. I'm getting something to drink. Yeah, for sure. He definitely should be in there for life, but it ain't happening. So
So your dad liked that thing that I pointed out about Neil Armstrong about well who was videotaping him if he was the first person?
yeah, I've been meaning to look into that and try to figure that out because I want to know why that's like that. I want to know.
Yeah, it brings up a good question. And I was thinking about something else. If your family, the one that said I was speaking gospel, they're gonna love when I get to tip it.
Well, that was Christmas time. You had an audience.
I said I was speaking gospel to them.
Dude, for anybody that buys into the conspiracy, you're the perfect person to listen to.
I appreciate that. I've did a lot of research over the years.
No, but you don't bring up the bullshit. There's so
Well,
many,
you
huh?
lose credibility.
Yeah, there's so many guys that I used to be all about them. Then all of a sudden they would say one thing, I'd be like, no, Garrison.
And, Garrison didn't even prosecute the case.
He was all about the gay thing.
Garrison was
He
a
was
nut.
all about the gay thing, man.
And I think that had to do with his own demons of
Yeah,
homosexuality.
yeah. I mean, I believe that he was. I think a lot of his investigation in it was genuine, but
Well, the book I would really like to read, and I read on the Trail of the Assassins, but I would like to read the first book he read called Heritage of Stone. That book was written in 1970,
I
right
read the
after.
one. I read the other one, Trail of the
I,
Assassin.
I read on that one, but I would like to read Heritage of Stone because that was the one he wrote a year right after the case. I mean, when I read on the Trail of the Assassins, I couldn't put it down.
I loved it.
Oh, great! It was great, man.
I still have it.
I still have it somewhere.
Yeah, I got it. Wow, I'm looking at all my. I got a lot of JFK conspiracy books.
I've got Case Closed. I've never read it.
Oh, Posner.
Yeah.
It's good.
There's just one guy's got a site, McAdams Post, something about a JFK site. He's kind of a hack to me because he takes a lot of stuff and kind of runs with it. I've sent him a bunch of emails and he don't respond to them.
Why? What does he go deep into the bullshit?
No, he's a lone nut guy. But then
Oh,
when I try to point out things to him, and then he won't respond to it.
oh, he won't
Like,
battle with you.
yeah, he won't battle with me. Like when I
And
brought up about the nitrate test on the cheeks, he goes, "Well, he had nitrate test on his hand, so it proved he fired a pistol." And I said, "No, it doesn't. He was handling boxes." And then I sent him some other emails, and then he just stopped responding to them.
does
And of
it
course,
seem
he
like
got,
he knows his shit though?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, check out his site. I mean, he's got some good stuff on there. Um, some of it I don't subscribe to, but no, he's very knowledgeable about it.
You get videos?
No, it's just a website. It's McAdams Post something. Um,
Just
and
send me a
he
link.
okay. And he goes into the New Orleans thing and different stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, he's very knowledgeable.
So back to the Super Bowl, man. What the fuck?
Man, I hated to see Brady lose. I tell you that post that guy, my buddy, put out. I used to work with. He said it's no longer in question. Joe Montana is the greatest of all time.
Come
And I
on.
said, and I responded back. I said, Brady's won 14 AFC championships. He played in 12, or he's won 14 AFC East titles. He played in 12 AFC championship games. He went to 8 Super Bowls. He's won 5 of them.
What did
There's
he
no
say that after
comparison.
they lost?
Yeah. I said, Brady also had Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time, around him. Tom Rathman, Roger Craig, John Taylor, Brent Jones. Brady never had those kind of weapons.
No, dude. Every time someone great loses, they get discredited. It's like, dude,
I mean, he went to 8 Super Bowls. Do you expect him to win all 8 of them? No
no.
other quarterback. No other quarterbacks won 5. No other quarterback's been to 5.
Just the tricks he pulls out of his sleeves.
Oh God, yes.
Michael Jordan type shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and a friend was talking the other night. I think the greatest basketball team to never win a championship and if it had went to Game 7, I think it could have went either way. Was the Jazz
Karl Malone, John Stockton.
and Hornacek.
Oh yeah, Jeff Hornacek. What a great
Well,
team.
I even said they would have beat um, Steph Curry and Golden State. I said, man, they'd have pick and rolled them to death.
Oh, that was their thing. Michael took them out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. It takes someone like Michael to take them out.
yeah. I mean, Stockton with his assist, I mean, he would have ate them alive.
The way him and Malone work together.
Yeah, and then that guy was trying to argue with me that Curry and that team could have beat the '96 Bulls, and I said, dude,
Oh.
I said you would have put Pippen on Steph Curry, he wouldn't have had a point.
Dude, that's just come on, dude.
And that was the greatest team of all time.
Michael Jordan would refuse to fucking lose.
Yeah,
He's never lost in the finals, man.
never.
He's never even went past 5 games. Or 6 games.
I think that Jazz 6 games. That Jazz game was 6.
Yeah, he's never went past 6 games.
Never went past 6.
Pure domination.
And then that guy tried to tell me that he made a point, and it was a stupid comment. He said something about, well, Jordan had white boys around him. I said he had Kukoc, Longley, Kerr. I mean, you trying to say those guys couldn't play?
Excellent players.
Excellent players. I mean, I was like, are you saying white boys? He said, well, I'm just saying black players are better. I was like, well, okay, but are you trying to say that white boys can't play with them? I said, Kukoc, Longley, Kerr. I mean, come on, Kerr could shoot the eyes out of a three-pointer.
Larry Bird. That's all you got to say right there.
All you got to say, Larry Bird.
That's it. All the brothers, I always got to say it, all the brothers respected him.
Oh, they pay homage to the Bird.
That white boy can play. They all say it.
And that white boy would tell you what he was going to do and then do
That
it.
white boy can play and tell you what he's, yeah.
I'm fixing to catch this. We're fixing to run a screen. I'm going to catch it in the corner.
Right here.
I'm going to drain this 3.
Right here.
And looked at Reggie Miller and
Nothing
said,
you
Merry
can do
fucking
about it.
Christmas. Nothing. Told you what he was going to do. Call a timeout. Walk by their bench. Said, we're fixing to run a screen. I'm going to catch it right here in the corner. I'm going to shoot a 3, and we're going to win this game.
Right in your
Ran the
face.
screen, caught the ball, drained it, and ran by Reggie Miller and said, Merry fucking Christmas.
Oh. He was considered one of the biggest shit talkers ever. It was like, he just did it so silently.
Yeah, and then that same guy was we were talking about your white boys. I said, what about Bill Laimbeer? You didn't come across the middle with Bill Laimbeer.
If you did, you ain't doing it again.
No, and you ain't getting up for a minute.
Yeah, he'll floor you, boy. That's when basketball is awesome, man.
That was one of my favorite teams, man. I mean,
Oh,
you came.
all of the Pistons were like that.
Oh, Rodman, Isaiah, Bill Laimbeer.
Isaiah was a slick little motherfucker, man.
Off their coach, Chuck Daly.
Chuck Daly.
Yeah, you came across the middle and Bill Laimbeer, your ass was going to the ground.
With pain. You know,
With pain.
like a season-ending hit.
Yeah, like a linebacker hitting you in football.
I've seen interviews with him. He's actually not even a bad guy.
No, I have too. I like Bill Laimbeer.
He straight up says it. That was my job.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, I wanted to end your season. That's what
I was kind of like, when I played, I was kind of like, they called me the Hammer.
In basketball?
Yeah, because I was one of the best defensive players, and that's what my coaches called me, the Hammer. They said when he went up for a shot, I was taking you down.
I can picture you being one of them scrappy defensive players.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was not a good shooter. I was not a good dribbler. My main thing was when I played was they would put me on their best player.
And just give him hell.
Oh, yeah. And every time, like, when they got to their best shooter, I'd be in his face, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. I dare you, shoot it.
I'd end up fighting you.
Oh, man. I'd be like, shoot it, shoot it. You think you're going to get around me? Come on, man. Try me. Shoot it, boy. Shoot it. Shoot it. You ain't going to make this shot.
Hey,
You ain't gonna make this
remember
shot.
that player Muggsy Bogues?
Oh yeah.
You ever hear the story when Michael Jordan said to him?
Mm-mm.
He had the ball and Jordan was defending him, and Jordan goes, "Shoot it, you fucking midget."
We was playing in the league. They had me on this. This kid was the best shooter of the league, and I was covering him. And the whole time I was like, "Come on, shoot it! You ain't gonna make it. Shoot it! I dare you!" I said, "You go up for that shot. I'm gonna put you on the ground." And every time he went up, I mean, I'd come down on his arms. I ended up getting fouling out late in the game, and I'd come down on his arms just as hard as I could.
A hack him.
Yep. I mean, they'd have to limit my playing time because I would get so many fouls so early.
Well, that's the era of basketball you grew up with. People did that shit.
Yeah. I mean, because and when I
You
played
can't
them, and
do that shit now.
I prided myself off Lambeer and them stuff. I mean, if they came in the middle, like one
Bird will
drove
do it
on
to
me,
you
tried to
too.
go up to a shot. I mean, I'd give him a body shot.
Bird will do it to you too. Bird will
Oh
fight.
yeah, yeah. I would have those guards so fucking frustrated, bad.
You can't. I wish they still played that way. You can't play that way no more.
I'd be like, "Come on, shoot it, pussy, shoot it."
You can't even hand check. Like keep your hand on the hip anymore. That
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I would always make the officials where they couldn't hear me because I'd say, "Relax, come on, pussy, shoot it.
That's how
You
Larry
gonna
did
take
it.
it? Shoot it, pussy, shoot it. You ain't man enough to take this shot. You come across this middle, I'm gonna put your ass on the floor, boy."
I mean, how tall are you?
5'11".
So would you play like a two guard?
Yeah, and we didn't do much pressing, but um, like when they inbounded the ball, I would take the point guard and we'd go. I'd be with him from the court all the way through it and just
Full
talking
court
shit.
press?
Yeah,
I
come on, you ain't
hated
getting
that.
past.
I hated fucking
Come on.
being full court press. I hated it.
Oh, dude, when I coached basketball, that's the only thing I ran was a full court press, and I mean, I developed this press for little league basketball. I mean, we would force 15, 18 turnovers a game. They could not get the ball up the court. I mean, we ran a 3-1-1 in a press, and this
Oh, the
press that I
zone.
developed, yes, this I put three people up front, and I taught them, I would force them to go trap into the corner, and as soon as they trapped in the corner, like if they trapped on the right side, I would have my left guy run straight to the middle of the court to cut off that pass right there. The guy at the top would come up there to cut off that pass right there, and then I'd have one deep man. So then, if they got a pass up there, then the guy in the middle and the guy at the top would trap right there. The other guys would fall back into position. I mean, we would get so many
Dude, you know
where
it's
they
a very hard offense to learn is what the Bulls ran, that triangle offense.
triangle offense. Yep.
It's so hard
Tech,
to understand that.
yeah. Tech Sweater, bad.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You know what's up.
Yep. That was his offense.
I mean, it really it took away from what Jordan could do. Like
It
that
did.
made yeah, it made him such a
I
team
think,
player.
and I'm telling you, who I think one of the most underrated coaches is, who I would go get, man. I don't know if he just doesn't want to coach anymore. Is Jeff Van Gundy.
Why he's done?
Well, I mean, he hasn't coached in a long time, man. But I
I
just
like
thought
him.
that guy was.
I
Oh, I
like
thought
him.
that guy was awesome. I would go after him in a minute.
Yeah, I like him. Nothing against him at all.
Yeah, I mean, that damn team he took the Knicks when he took them to the finals against San Antonio, and I mean, there's no way that team should have went to the finals. They was an 8 seed.
Who is on his next team?
Uh,
Not Ewing in them.
Ewing was on that team.
Oh,
Latrell
he was.
Sprewell was on. Yeah, Latrell Sprewell was on that team. Larry Johnson.
Oh wow, Larry Johnson, Big Mama.
Uh, and that point guard that played quarterback at Florida State, was it? Warren. God, I can't think of his name now. He played quarterback at Florida State and ended up playing in the NBA, and he was a point guard.
I can't think of who that is.
I can't either off the top of my head, but he was good.
I remember the
When
old
he was
point
back
guard at the
then.
Knicks, John Starks.
Trying to remember him.
Yeah, John Starks, Patrick Ewing, the Oakley brothers.
Oh yeah, the Oakley brothers. I remember LJ, man. Every time he hit that shot, would do like this.
Yeah.
I
LJ was,
rewatched that the other night, man, because it was so good. About when you said, "Oh shit, what's he got waiting for me?" When you was talking about Howard Brennan, I was watching my body language, and I had my arms crossed, biting my teeth, rocking back and forth.
I go, all right, yeah, I'm Brandon. Now I'm gonna bring up my guy, Mr. Howard Brennan. You know, oh yeah, bring on old
I
Howard.
said, "Oh yeah, good old Howard Brennan. Bring on, oh Howard Brennan." You said, "Oh shit, what's he got for me?" And I
I
was sitting up
did.
there, and I had my
Yeah, I
teeth
just kept my
clenched.
composure. I just kept my
I had my
composure.
had my teeth clenched. I was rocking back and forth, arms crossed, and I was just waiting.
You brought it right back up to an even par at that point.
Yeah, because I was behind on the cards at that point.
Yeah, but that that's like me have that's like the fucking prosecutor having OJ try on the glove.
Yeah, that was. I think that's the only time in our debates that I've had you rattled.
That's what Christopher Darden.
Yeah. Because I was like, remember I said, well, which one is it, Mike? Is he on the floor? Is he on the box? Is he leaned up against the window?
Yeah, I was stuttering for words.
Oh, yeah, I was chomping at the bit, man. I was like, oh, I can't wait till he gets through. I was like, I didn't realize my body language at the time. I kept rewatching it.
You had great points.
Yeah, I was ready for that one because I was like, there's no way he could have made that ID.
I mean that's what that's what you contested very well. You did it very well. I give it to you.
I appreciate that.
I definitely give it to you on that
And
one.
then
Hell yeah.
in C 399, that was a slugfest.
Oh, dude, I wasn't
I mean,
giving
that
you
was
no.
like,
I wasn't giving you no room, and neither were you.
that was like two prize fighters standing in the ring, just going to landing blow to blow. I mean, that was a slugfest on C 399.
Yeah, and then after the fight, you just shake hands like good fight.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the best back and forth.
Oh, I've never been into it that good with somebody before with JFK.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't really get into C 399 or don't. I mean, I guess study it as much. I mean, but that was by far the best back and forth. I mean, that was,
Ugh,
um,
it's
I mean, I would
powerful.
call that one at least a draw. I mean, because that was
Yeah,
brutal.
that was a good one, man. We did very well. We're doing what we're aiming to do. We're not aiming to convince each other of anything. We're aiming to give people a different perspective.
Yeah, and we always tell them,
I
look,
want your people to see things like I'm trying to say. You want my people to think,
yeah, and we always say, look, I challenge you, go look at these pictures, and then you make up your own mind on it.
yeah. Because once you look at CE399, you have to conclude.
Oh, I had to use that line, man.
Oh,
Once you conclude,
I would have too.
once you conclude that bullet cannot create all seven of those wounds, you have to conclude that there was a fourth shot. And if there was a fourth shot, then there was a second rifle. And
By
if there was a
definition.
second rifle, then by definition, there had to be a conspiracy.
That's a fucking great line. You can't not use that.
Oh, I had to. I mean, I had to use that one. I mean, that was probably the best. That was the best one out there. I had to use that line. That was straight from Kevin Costner. I meant
Floyd
to use the line.
Mayweather Floyd Mayweather's threatening to get in the octagon.
Yeah, I heard that. Oh, and I meant to use the one too. I forgot that theoretical physics can prove that an elephant can hang from a cliff with its tail tied to a daisy, but use your eyes, your common sense.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I can always pop that movie on, man.
Oh, I can sit there and watch it, and I mean all day long.
The drum roll to begin, the military
Oh yeah,
drum.
I love that. Rose Sheremy, the um,
Yep.
first witness they used. You know, she claimed, which I don't ever buy this because I don't think Ruby was, but she claimed that Ruby and Oswald was lovers.
Yeah, see, you don't go there.
No, no, I don't buy that at all.
No, I know
First
you
of all,
don't.
I don't think Ruby was gay.
There
I think
are
it's crazy.
rumors, though, right?
I, just the only ones I've ever heard was from her. I've never really heard it from anybody
Oh,
else.
okay. I know there's a lot of stories that he liked to fight.
Oh, he was a very violent man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he was arrested a bunch of times, you know, for illegal weapons and carrying concealed weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, Ruby was a violent tempered man.
He has a lot to do with boxing, too, with the mafia in Chicago.
You know, the thing I just don't understand, you know, that would I wish they would have took him to Washington where he said he would tell the whole story. Because remember he said
Yeah.
the true facts of my case will never be known.
Yeah, I know.
And he tried to say it was because, you know, they was going to blame the Jews for it and
He was going on and on about the Jewish thing, though.
yeah, and I don't get that.
I don't either. I don't either.
I don't understand where he was going with that,
I don't.
with the Jewish thing. You know, that's what that stupid idiot Jim Phelps kept bringing up about this Jewish
Oh,
ties. And I was like,
oh,
I'm not under. I'm,
oh, yeah. That goofball said that we were high and we were all fucked up in that video. No, we weren't. Uh, I know I
no,
wasn't.
I wasn't.
I mean, I don't remember nothing like that.
No, I mean, I don't know where he came up with that at. And then
Yeah,
he
he
said
read
something
the
about
road. That we were
said Louis.
high, smoking cigarettes. Look, you could look up our noses and they were showing guns off to each other. Man, then shut it off. You don't gotta watch it.
That's what I'm saying. You got to watch it. I mean, I think our stuff's a lot better than the shit he
That
was
wasn't even
posting.
our shit about JFK. We weren't even doing a JFK thing.
No, we wasn't.
Our JFK shits are very serious. They're not no joking around.
No, we're not just sitting around talking. No.
This is
Yeah,
just
it's
shooting
very
the
serious.
shit for people to watch and entertain themselves for a couple hours. That's all this is.
Yeah, yeah, we get a lot of views with it.
Yeah, it's about time we get to upload one to YouTube. It's been a while.
Yeah, we need to do a promo of Parkland.
Yep, that's coming up. I'd say within the next week.
I
It,
can be ready in a week.
it's Parkland and Bethesda, right? That's it.
Yeah, I could be ready by this weekend.
It's a possibility.
I mean, just let me know and I'll get into it tomorrow and just get the
Like you said, I just
notebook
want to
out.
get my notes out. Like you said about your notes, I just want my notes to be thorough.
Yeah,
I don't want. I can't get caught slipping. You know.
yeah, me either.
I can't.
I know who I'm battling.
I can't get caught slipping with you, dude.
Yeah, I know who I'm battling, so I can't. I gotta have all
If
my
if,
P's
if
and
I
Q's
catch you
lined
slipping
up.
on me, I'm gonna eat it up.
Well, I'm gonna go for the throat too.
I know. That's why I need my notes and my sources.
Cause like, what was that? Which segment was it? I think it was when we was doing C399, and you said when I started off about why didn't he shoot him coming up Houston? You said, "Oh God, I knew you came to throw leather." You
Oh,
said you
right
came
away.
out. You said you came out throwing leather from jump.
Yep. Because that's literally where we said, all right, we're gonna start when the limo turns onto Houston, and we're like, okay. Right away. Limo turns into Houston. Why didn't he shoot? I'm like, oh shit, here we go. This is a battle. Round one. He's not even trying to feel it out.
No, I wasn't gonna try to dance around it. No, I was coming out
Yeah,
throwing leather. Why didn't she
round
even come
one.
up? Easiest shot from the book depository. Even if the car accelerates, he still got him for the second shot. No, the reason is to get him into a triangulated crossfire. And he was like, oh shit, he came to throw leather in this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there
I
was no
mean,
sparring. It was coming right out like a
all of them were
yeah.
good, man. All of them were good. Even the bag. The bag was good.
Oh, the bag was one of the best ones I thought.
The bag was excellent.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I thought the bag was very excellent.
And his movements in the building, that was a good one, dude. We
I thought that
didn't,
was a great one too.
dude. We didn't miss. Missed nothing. There's
No stone was left unturned.
no, not even close. We hit every mark. You for your side, and me for my side.
Yeah, it's been a good fun battle. I look forward for the next ones. I just
Yeah,
can't wait to get through. I just can't wait to get through Bethesda and
you want
Parkland to get
that
to
tippet,
Tippett.
boy. You want that tippet.
Oh, dude, I've been. Oh God, you don't know how bad I want Tippett.
So it's Parkland, Bethesda, Tippet Theater,
Hmm.
and then everything else we'll set that up after.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah.
So yeah, Parkland, Bethesda. Bethesda's got some shit to it. And then if you wanted to, I don't like I said, you said you weren't even sure if you were going to do this. The flight.
Um.
You can if you want. I mean, that's how we get from Parkland to Bethesda.
Yeah, we'll touch on the flight.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll touch on the flight. Because my main contention with the flight is what happened to the brain between Parkland and Bethesda.
They had the brain in Bethesda.
Not according to the man who was supposed to take it out.
Yeah, that guy. We'll get into it.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait, but God, yeah, I'm chomping at the bit for Tippett. I got too far ahead of myself the other night.
Are you? What are you watching for your Tippet stuff?
I go through different
Or are you
sites,
reading? Are you reading or are you watching shit?
reading and watching.
Oh, okay.
Um, you know, and
Because I've never
and
seen it. I never seen any good videos about the Tippet.
oh, there's a lot out there. I mean, you just got to search for them. And then the one thing, the whole time frame about you know, Tippett was not shot at 115.
Yeah, I know the time frame. I know that argument. Yeah,
Yeah, that's when the ambulance arrived. So I mean, but anyway, I'm going to save all that for Tippett. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sounds good to me. Yeah, we'll do a promo, or you can do it now if you. I don't know. We can end this like this, and then we'll bang out a
we can do that
promo this
tomorrow.
week. Yeah,
Yeah, hold up, Bart.
but yeah, within the next week, we can definitely bang out a new JFK section.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, all right, man, I'm fixed to have to take the dog out and go to bed.
right on, brother. I'll upload this.
All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, everybody, subscribe to that fucking thing at the bottom.
Yep, join, please. We need all the subscribers we can
Join the army. All right, brother.
get. All right, man. Later.
Later.